And we're back. Hello everyone. How you guys doing? Yosis, Yoselenia. Let me switch to the correct scene. This one. Yes, sir. How you doing, guys? Hope you're doing great. Hope everyone having a terrific Wednesday. As I am having a blast myself. A lot of work today, but cool stuff coming. I might. Do we want to, Yo Jakub? Do we want? I might have a few things to share with you tonight, as in like teasing, cause you guys know already about some of the projects, but like there are some stuff that I did never talk about on the channel that are going to be announced very soon. That I kinda want to share with you guys. So I'll think about it and see how much I can tell during this stream. But I hope you guys are doing great. I hope you're having a great Wednesday wherever you are, whatever time it is there. As per usual, it is a bit later than 8 p.m. Paris time because I did have a few stuff to deal with before launching that stream. But we're here to talk Riftbound meta. And if you guys were there last week we were talking about like card reveals. And I think in the intro I said something like, okay, so we'll start with card reveals. And then at some point when we're done, we are going to switch to talking the formats and stuff. You're ready? How you doing, brother? And guess what? We spent about 4 hours and a half talking code reviews. So the plan is tonight, we most likely only talk about code reviews because I think we have at least as much, if not more, codes to analyze. I think some of them are less interesting, so I'll try to go faster on these ones. And some of them are like super duper interesting, so I'll try to go a bit in depth with these ones. Also, fresh shoes. Short hair, trimmed beard, fresh shoes in the building. Is it like, yeah, it's working. Now I can do this and seem like a smart guy. JK, of course. But might have something this weekend that made me go to the hairdresser to get a fresh cut. Yo Ray, yo Ryu, how you doing, guys? Hope you're doing great. Cat bag. I don't have VTTV, so I can only imagine what a cat bag is though. But Cat won't be there tonight. Cat won't be there because, as I told you, I have something this weekend, Riftbound related. So I won't be there this weekend. So Cat went to my parents' house to spend the weekend there because I'm not leaving her alone for like 4 days straight. Like, this would be madness. Ezreal waiting room. Not gonna lie, Ezreal seems like giga shit so far. This is probably the Legends in which I'm disappointed the most. Like, I was thinking probably Ezreal was going to be like super sick, but meh. Lol, agreed, no. Like, to be fair, from reveals, Ezreal looks giga shit. Can't confirm Selenia, but won't say no. Now, I did leak something once, I'm not going to do it twice. There are going to be announcements made like when they feel like it, but I might be there. You might see me there. So, the plan tonight is to talk card reveals. Last week, we already analyzed a lot of them in the card gallery and on Twitter. I don't have the exact count, but like this took us like 4 hours. So like pretty much a lot of them. And I think tonight we have right about the same number. So let's jump straight into it. If you guys have questions, feel free to do so. Also, something that I don't do often, but I want to do now. Usually I give you links to follow like other people Twitter, as in like, yeah, this guy is sharing interesting information and stuff. But also, if you want to have my opinion, because like we are doing these streams every Wednesday, right? So sometimes they're all revealed from the Friday. And if you only follow me on Twitch, you have to wait until like next Wednesday to have my opinion on it, which might like take a long time and you probably forgot about those reveals. So if you want to see me talk about them reveals, of course it's not like as complete as on stream, but you can also follow me on Twitter. I think this works. Yep, it does. You can also follow me on Twitter, and I try to react to everything right about when it's posted. As in like, okay, I don't think this is good, I don't think this is going to see play, and so on and so on. And then most of the time when people reply, I also try to do the same. So like this one, you see, I gave my opinion. Then some people replied, as in like, I see this as being potential or something. And then I also give my opinion and stuff. So like, cool discussion. You're Riri, yeah, gamers. Cool discussion, cool stuff. If you want to be in there and like have preview insight of what I think, feel free to follow me there, and I post regularly. That's about it for the promo. I'll just pin it on the live though, so that way you guys have access to it. And let's jump straight into the chords. So the first chord of the night, if you have any questions, once again, feel free to ask. I'll be down. If we have time by the end of the stream, we will try to have some sort of Houston prediction. As in, like, I think this deck is going to perform, I think this deck is not going to perform. This is my outsider and stuff. But I don't think we will have time. If we do have it, we will. And if you guys really want to do it, we might make a bit of, like, overtime to make it happen. Whatever, let's jump into the chord reveal. So the first chord is Fizz Trickster, and for the ones that are already in the chord gallery, we are going to use the chord gallery because it's a lot clearer as to what the chord does and you guys have every information. So, Fizz Trickster is a 3 energy, 1 power unit that also has 3 might, so standard rate for chords that have a strong effect, and Fizz Trickster says when you play me, you may play a spell from your trash with energy cost no more than 3 energy, ignoring its energy cost, and then you recycle that spell after you play it. So, to translate it for those who did not get it, you drop Fizz, then you play a spell from your trash that is 3 energy or less, you pay the power cost, but you don't pay the energy cost, and then you put it at the bottom of the deck. This is like super cracked. In my opinion, this is one of the best upgrades in the sense of like chord archetypes that we saw so far, because the chord that's like actually close to doing this in the current format and that is in play is Purple Annie. I have to toggle all sets. Yeah, this chord. This is the chord that is seeing play right now. That is like not super good, but also like decent. You are not like super sad you play this chord. And this chord is 4 energy and a power, so 1 more energy for the same might, and you don't play the chord that you recycle for free, you just return a spell from your trash to your hand. Most of the time in any, what you return with this is Ride the Wind. You can also return chords like Ghost and Cleave, but like all of these are viable targets for Fizz. But on the other hand, Fizz is like you play it for free, and you drop a body. So like it's super good in my opinion. It's a like insane upgrade. It has so much potential in what we could see. The first thing that came to mind, in my opinion, was like, okay, this guy is potentially going to crack Ezreal. Because then if we have strong repeats that are cheaper than 3 energy, we could potentially like drop Fizz, play a repeat from the trash, use the repeat effect, so we target like 2 units. Let's say we have a pseudo like Stupefy retreat, like -2 might on something with a repeat. Then you just like drop Fizz, effect, you pay an energy, you go -2, you repeat, you go -2. But since you are using Fizz, you don't pay the first energy, so you only pay the energy for the repeat, I think, if that's how this works. So you go -2, then you reduce might by 4, you drop a 3/3 units, and you can tap Ezreal to draw a chord. This I thought was going to be super good. Unfortunately, so far, 1, repeats are not super good. 2, Ezreal we said was going to need either strong champion in one of the 2 colors, or strong signature, ideally repeat, or strong repeats. So far, blue champion is shit, guaranteed shit. Purple champion is decent, but does not help the strategy, kind of, but it's like not a terrible unit, it just does not help the strategy. And signature is meh, kind of shit, not repeat. And repeat spells are not good. So like, so far, I think Ezreal is on the downhill of hype. Like, I was hyped, I'm not so hyped anymore. I think he would need to have very stacked reveals in the upcoming days to be viable. I think right now it's not very good. But I still think Fizz is a super good chord. You can play it once again to play Ride the Wind. So like this is sick. Like you can potentially, let's say we are in a like mid-game-ish, late-game-ish situation in which you have access to Fizz and Ride the Wind. You could potentially either play a big unit, then play Fizz, enable the Ride the Wind on that specific unit, then move the unit around like in one turn, so it like pseudo ride the wind. But like you don't pay the energy cost, right? Or we could also see it on Fizz. Like straight up, you drop Fizz, you use Ride the Wind, you ready Fizz, you move it somewhere, then you, let's say it's ganking battlefield, or you play this in MF, then you can give ganking to Fizz, and you can gank to the other battlefield. Like there are a lot of possibilities that we could see with Fizz, only in purple, and then like there are obviously even stronger ones if you combine it with the other colors. So like this card is just overall super good. The stat line is like, to be fair, if this card was like 3 energy and a power for 2 might, I still would think it's a pretty good card. The fact that it's on top of that super good effect a 3/3 is like pretty sick to me, like kind of correct. So I really do love this. I think it's a super good card. Can you combo the ability with Vexes so we can use 4 cost spells? Let me check how Vex works. Vex. What? I mean, combat friendly spells cost. Okay, I would say no. And also, I'm not certain how you would manage to play Fizz while having Vex in combat state. So I would say no, mechanically. And I would be very surprised that you can enable this in a competitive deck on a regular basis. But interesting question though. Snapcaster Mage, just a good card. Yeah, Fizz is super good. And we have another. So these 2 cards, by the way, I did not mention it, but I talked about them recasting the Robolas Riftbound Cup because they were leaked the day I casted that cup. So we talked about them in between rounds. So for those of you who already saw me talked about this card, sorry, we are just going to talk about them briefly, and then we are going to jump onto the next ones. And talking about jump, let's talk about Rengar. This is pro streamer material, by the way. See what I did? So Rengar pouncing is a 3 energy 1 power unit with 3 might that has the reaction keyword, so pretty interesting for a unit. So far only Shen had the reaction keyword as like you may play me as a reaction. And then we also have Aso 2, Shen as shield 2, and Rengar says I can be played to a battlefield you're attacking. Yo Ida, thank you for the follow, brother. I think this card is super good. If you've been on the stream before, you know that I'm like kind of not a Shen fan. You guys, I will just show you Shen because it's not a card that's seen play so much, so maybe you don't know about it. Shen is the exact opposite. Instead of Assault, you have Shield, and you can also play it as a reaction. It's a 3/3, but in order, whereas Rengar is Fury. I don't like Shen. Why do I not like Shen? Is because even though Shen is a reaction, it does not work around the rules. Like, you can only play, in the normal state of Riftbound, you can only play units in your base or in the battlefield you control, right? Exact same thing for Shen. Even though it has a reaction, you can never play Shen as an attacker to use it as a pseudo accelerate. As in, like, you have a unit that's in base, you attack, then reaction speed, you play Shen with it to attack. You can't do that because you don't control that battlefield. You are attacking there. And Shen does not have any text that says you can play me there. So this was my big problem with Shen. It's a pretty good defensive card. But on the other hand, when you're playing from behind, it's pretty trash. So like the only way I could see this card seeing play was like going first into specific yellow decks, as in like Victor and stuff, where you're almost certain that you will like spawn units turn 1 and then conquer turn 2 and then you enable Shen, basically. On the other hand, Rengar is completely different because Rengar is extremely proactive. Not only do you have Assault, so like you can play this as a super strong pseudo accelerate card. Then if you're playing it accelerate, it's like completely cracked because then these cards accelerate, remember, cost 1 energy and 1 power. That's the cost for the accelerate keyword. And most cards that have accelerate, once you end up paying the accelerate, you pay more than their actual might. Fox, you pay 8 and 2 power and you have 7 might. Yi, champion, does not have accelerate, but like pseudo, you play 7 and a power for 6 might. There are a lot of them actually. Orange Listen is 6/6, but if you accelerate, it's 7 and a power for 6 might, and so on. This Rengar is 3 energy and a power for a 5 might accelerate unit. This is like super above the curve, super cracked, and also you can still play this as a defensive too, as in like they attack, they have like 1 or 2 might advantage, you drop Rengar, you still out might. Sure, you don't have the assault port, but it's still 3 might. So like, it can be used in the lead. It can be used when you're playing from behind. That's where it shines the most. So I really think this card is super good. I think this is definitely going to see play in aggro decks. And I think this is going to be a staple in red for like quite some time. I don't think like every red deck in the creation is going to play this card. Because like potentially it does not fit with like the Kaisa gameplay or something like that. But the fact that you have access to a 5 might accelerate unit for only 3 energy and a power is kind of correct to me. So I really do love Rengar. I think this card is super good compared to Shen, which is like only reactive. Rengar is like super proactive. So I really do love Rengar. Fizz and Rengars, super good reveals. Then let's jump into the cards that we did not analyze together yet. Once again, if you guys have opinions, questions, interactions, whatever you want to know about, feel free to ask in the chat. Because like I'm giving my opinion, but you might have a different one. That does not mean you're wrong. And like let's chat about these cards if you guys disagree or something. I don't get what we can't play it in the battlefield if the word wasn't there. If we attack. Because Riftbound rules implies that there are only 2 situations in which you can play units. One of them is in base, the other one is you control a battlefield and you can drop it there directly. Like you are the only one having a unit at the battlefield and you can drop a unit on top of it basically. And that's it. You can't play a unit to attack a battlefield, except like Dead Bloom, but like whatever. So like Shen does not change that mechanic, right? You can play it as a reaction, but that does not mean that you can play it in a battlefield you don't control. That's like the basic rule, and Shen does not override it. Whereas Rengar does, because he has the text to do so. So like that's the big difference there. Yeah, exactly. You don't control the battlefield when you attack. That's it. So reaction is for a battlefield you control and defend. Yep, exactly. I mean, it's not about reaction. It's just about playing a court in Riftbound overall. And then the fact that Shen has reaction means you can play it from your end during a showdown. But that does not change the fact that you can't play in the battlefield you don't control. Except Dead Blue. Next chords are Jax and Xin Zhao. Let's jump to the chord gallery because these are in Chinese. And we have them in English now. So Jax is green Jax. Remember we talked about orange Jax last week, which is like Weapon Master, blah blah blah. And then when you equip, you may pay an energy to draw a chord. So it was like decent, promising plain Jax, but like not an overall super strong staple. Jax Unmatched is a 5 energy and a power unit for 5 might that has deflect and also has each equipment in your hand as quick draw. So basically all of your equipments become reaction. I don't hate it. I don't think it's super good because like Jax is green already. So basically what this means is like, okay, you kinda want to swap out all of your reaction spells to play equips, which I could see in a way. Like you don't want to play Engward, you don't want to play Feral Strength. Maybe you still want to play Discipline because Discipline is cracked. But then you only have the equips that are going to work as spells, so I don't hate it. But also you kinda cut what's super strong in green, as in like having all of these spells. You replace them basically, but that's already something that you could do fairly well, I would say. And also that does not help with like draw power or anything, and is not super stated. And if he has to drop like in the mid game, you want to play this guy, then you tapped 5 runes, you have to have a lot of runes to make use of its effect if you don't want it to get cleared. So like I would not say I hate him, I just think like everything's not working so well together, and we could see this champ not seeing play because the orange one is just a little bit better, in my opinion. Great green unit into red decks, probably decent in Azir. I don't think it's going to see play in Azir. It's not like trash, but also it's conditioned to a lot of stuff. You have to have a lot of runes, you have to have some of them equipped, so you kinda have to deck build around it. Because if you have this but don't have equips, then this is useless. Yeah, don't think that card is like super good. I don't think it's like super bad either. But I think Azir might rather play a lot of cheap equips that he can drop in the early game to generate them Sand Soldiers. And if we are in like that scenario in which like we have 2 equips in hand, and then turn 1 we play an equip, we generate a Sand Soldier, and then turn 2 we play an equip, we generate a Sand Soldier, then why would we still have extra equips in the end when we can drop Jax? That would mean like we have 20 equips in the deck or something, and I think that's too much. I think Azir just wants something like 10, maybe 12 equips at most to build up tempo in the early game, and that's about it. Might be wrong though. But I think this Jax is slightly better. I think none of these is going to see play outside of Jax, or at least not regularly, maybe like teched in a deck somewhere, but like I don't think it's going to be a staple in any deck aside from Jax. And I think, talking Jax specifically, this one might be slightly better. So I would probably play this one rather than the green one. And second card is Hao. I think Hao. So Xin Zhao for us Western people. Xin Zhao though is a super good card. So it's 3 energy and a power for 4 might. So already a strong rate. Like we are above that 1-on-1 range. Xin Zhao also has tank, and he reads when I enter ready if you have 2 or more units in your base. I think this card is super strong. I think this card is definitely going to see play, be it in yellow aggro, so like Darius Hook, Rek'Sai Hook potentially. I think it could see play in Victor too, because like it's just an overall like super good rate for a card. It has the tank keyword, so it kinda protects your smaller yellow units. Like you're going to have tokens and stuff, and then if you want to fight, your tokens are going to be protected because Xin is the one taking on the damage, which I kinda like. And I also think it is potentially going to see play in Azir. Like the question is, does Azir need it? If Azir needs it, it's going to see play. But the Azir champion already has Accelerate, so I'm like unsure about that. But the rate is good, and I feel like you are very likely in Azir to like on turn 2 be dropping something like a 2 might unit, maybe a Poro, maybe something like that, and then an equip, and then a Sand Soldier. And also, probably your Sand Soldiers are going to live for some time because they are quite beefy in the early game. Like they have 2 might base and then they have an equip. So basically they all are shield Poros. And we know that shield Poros sometimes are hard to deal with. So we could probably see something like on 4 might, 5 might something. You retreat the Sand Soldier that was in the battlefield. Then you play a 1 energy equip. You spawn another Sand Soldier. Then you have 2 units in base and you can just drop Xin and attack the other battlefield. So I just think like this Xin Zhao is a good card. Not sure it's going to see play in Azir, but it's definitely going to see play in some of them yellow aggro decks. And this is definitely a card that you're going to have to play around, especially because it beats those strong early bodies. It beats the shield Poro and stuff. So it's going to help aggro decks take over the big strong places like battlefields that green decks can build so far. So yeah, I kinda like it. I think this card is going to see play. It's just an overall good staple. The Poro is a bit of a problem because you want to play this in the early game. But also, if it gives you so much tempo that your opponent has a hard time coming back from it, I could see Xin Zhao seeing play. Xin Zhao, if you want to say it correctly. Okay, so Xin Zhao. I like it. I like it. Xin is hard to say for French. Yeah, Xin Zhao. I kind of like it. I kind of like it. Next cards on the line. We have Jay Medardus. So the dude from Orkan, I think. Right? Jay? Yeah, this guy. I think, I might be wrong, but I think this is Mel's brother from Arcane, no? Mel's brother, Arcane. Kino. Okay, so it's another one. It's not that dude. It's not the dude from Arcane. It's another dude in the family. Theory, Mel's brother is Cassente. Okay. Okay. So it's another brother of... Oh, it's the one that's dead? Corina's friend? Okay, I don't remember about that one. But, okay. Anyway, it's the same family. Like, it's the family of Mel, Ambessa. I do think it's a large family, though. Because, like, they are kinda ruling over Noxus. Not as, like, Supreme Chief, but still as, like, super important people. And their family seems to be super important, too. So, like, I think this guy is part of the family, somehow. Don't know to what extent. Discord is a 5 energy and 2 power 5 might unit, so the rate is meh. And J reads, when you choose me with a spell, draw 1. To be fair, if we don't have a way to cheat that card, it's not going to see play. Like, it's way too expensive. We have super good cards at being charged with a spell in set 2. One of the legends that would benefit a lot from this mechanic is Irelia, because Irelia is when you choose a unit, pay a power ready, but then like you would pay 3 power to ready J and draw 1, so like super expensive. And also Irelia already has green Irelia, which is like no power cost, 4 might, but this like when you target it, so the condition to activate J is the same as to activate green Irelia, and it's like target with a spell, and Irelia gains a might when you target her with a spell. So basically they are both 5/5 units if you activate their ability, but Irelia has no power cost. And also, like, you have better options in purple. I think Vex is potentially going to see play. Like, I think we are going to see Court seeing play, and Jay is not one of them. Could have seen play in Ezreal, because like this card is not once per turn. This is something that we have to consider. This is not once per turn. So let's say we add something like a good repeat that is like -1 might, some things to P5 like on opponent's body to trigger the legend, but then they don't have a body, so you can't target it. You could potentially repeat twice on J to like draw twice, but this is not going to work. It's 1, too expensive, and 2, we don't have that super good repeat so far. So I don't like J. I don't think it's going to see play because it's too expensive. If it was 1 power or maybe a bit cheaper, I could have seen it. But like, I just think like deramping a complete turn, so paying 2 power to just like drop this, and then you also have to play cards on top to make it work, is going to be too expensive, in my opinion. This card is not a tempo, it's a storm-oriented card. What do you call storm though? Interesting question is, what do you call storm? Is storm like... No, I don't see what storm could be. Like, does not seem like it's aggro. Does not seem like storm is control neither. So like, let me know what storm is, then potentially we could discuss, but I don't... Magic the Gathering mechanic. Okay, I don't know about this one. If you could translate, would be cool. But I just don't think it's going to see play. It's just like too expensive for no reason, basically. Next card is Treasure Golem. So let's grab that one in English too. Golem. Trove. Okay, Trove Golem. Storm is like near infinite combo. You chain cast a lot of spells. Okay, I don't think we are going to be able to see this in set 2. Potentially we are... Play a copy of me for each other card played this turn. Huh, okay. Yeah, I don't think we're going... Like, potentially in set 6, 7, 8, we could see this. As in, like, yeah, we now have a lot of cards that reduce cost, and then we have a lot of cards that combo together, and we have a cheesy deck that's based on comboing these cards. I could potentially see that. But like in set 2, I just don't think it's going to see play. Of course, if we have like a super good reveal in set 3 that perfectly fits what this card wants to do, then maybe we could see it. But like, so far, I don't think it's going to see play. Yeah, like it's too expensive. The 2 power is too much. If it was 5/5, no power cost, maybe we could talk about it, but like 2 power is too much. Then we have Trove Golem. Trove Golem is an 8 energy and 2 power unit with 9 might. And Trove Golem says, when you play me, you can play 4 Gold Gear tokens exhausted. So at first, I did not hate this card. Like, I was considering this card as a potential top end material, because then like, you drop a kind of strong unit. It's not rare for top end units to cost like 1-2 plus power. It's not that bad neither, because then like you can just pay power. We are in the late game, so it's not as if you pay power in the early game and you deramp a rune for every single turn that's coming next. It's just like we are in the late game scenario. Now I use my power to play more aggressively and score them points. But then I also think it's kind of slow, and I also think the fact that it does not have a like accelerate keyword or something is going to make it like not super good. If this was accelerate, I could see it seeing play, because then you pay 9 and 3 power to accelerate it. You play a lot of gold gear tokens and then you set up for next turn. The only way this works is because of Renata. If we want to talk Renata, legend of course. Renata is, if your score is within 3 points of the victory score, your golds add an additional 1 energy. So playing the golem would mean you not only do generate 4 power, but you also do generate 4 energy. Which like is on paper not so bad. But the thing is, I have a feeling that every core that we see in Renata, and you are like, we are going to talk about extra Renata cores later on, they are the same. Every time we talk about Renata cores, they are like, bro, if we reach 3-point threshold, we are cracked. Like, we are breaking that game. And I could see it. But the problem is like, what do you do to reach that 5-point threshold? And so far, I feel like you don't do anything. Like, I think like Renata has literally no tool to reach like aggressively that 5-point threshold. Of course you are playing yellow, of course you have tokens, but none of this is integrated in either the champions or the signature or the legends. Like, you have to manage to reach 5 points by yourself. The deck is not going to help. And then if you manage to do so, you have cracked combos. But that's a bit of a problem in my opinion. I would have loved to see Renata have somewhat of a chip signature that allows you to score extra points or something, and then we get there. Or a champion that allows you to be super aggressive in the early game, and then we potentially get there. As in like, I don't know, like maybe we are Renata in league, and so like when one of your units dies, recall it to base, but give it the temporary keyword. So yeah, like you have an extra turn to like swarm the board and trade something like that. But we don't have that, and so I would say I still don't think Renata is going to be super good. We are going to be re-ranking once again at the very end of this, like from new reveals, what do we get? And I don't think Renata is going to be like on top of it. I really don't think so. Then we have Yordle Explorer. Yordle. Where's the dude? Here. So Yordle Explorer is a 4 energy, 4 might card that reads when you play a card with a power cost that's 2 or more, draw 1. I think this could see play, especially in like Sever, because like you really want to play them units that cost 2 power, because then you pay the power that you generated with the treasure token last turn, and then you pay another power so you can use Sever's ability to generate another treasure token for next turn. So basically you want to play all of these cards like the Mind Splitters, the Dead Blooms, you want to play Rebuke, all of those super strong cards that usually you only play few of them because you consider that 2 power is an expensive cost. In Sever, it's kind of mitigated. So I could see this card seeing play in Sever. Aside from that, I don't think it's that good of a card. It's not going to see play in Yi, most likely. Even though like dropping White Flame and Dead Bloom would be super good. I think there are already like super good cards in green to draw, and we don't play a lot of them. Maybe it's seeing play in Yi though. Like, I don't think it's a trash card. Maybe it's seeing play in Yi actually. But I don't think it's going to like break Yi. Like, it's just like an okay mid-game card. Maybe better than Kiana is why we play it though. Maybe we play it because it's like better than Kiana. And also in Yi, we are probably going to be playing some other cards that cost 2 power. So yeah, it could see play in Yi, to be fair. Because like there are upcoming reveals that I was not thinking about, but now I do think about them. And I think, yeah, it could see play in Yi for sure. Side note, each spells played that triggers this does not get Defy. Yeah, I mean they cost 2 power, so yeah, right. Which means if you play the core, you can't have it defied, so you are guaranteed to draw a card, right? That's what you mean. If that's what you mean, yeah, true. Then we have Creator Beasts, which is super scary and also super good. In my opinion, it's like very cool. So this card is like giga scary, and it's going to see play in, guess what? What's the name? Crad or something? Beasts. Beast maybe works. Beast does not. Crater does not. Yellow. Yellow Spiritforged, huh? What's the name? Where you at, dude? Where you at? Huh? Here we are. Undertaken. Okay. It's just like the Undertaker, right? Deck building wise, it's important. Yeah, I could see that. I could see what you mean. So Under Titan is a 6 energy and a power cord for 5 might. Not good rates. Very, very bad rates. But you almost don't want to play this card. This card is when you play me, give your other units +2 this turn, and then as I'm revealed from your deck, add 2 energy. So like when you play me, give your other units +2 this turn is like not trash. If we are playing token swarm strategy, hook, most likely, I could see that. But the port that reads, as I'm revealed from your deck, add 2 energy is super, super good. I definitely think you want to play 3 of these in Rek'Sai. Hopefully you don't draw them, but if you draw and you mulligan them, it's fine. Because like I think seeing what Red Rek'Sai does, seeing what Rek'Sai Legend does, seeing what some of the Rek'Sai cores allow you to do in like seeing your top deck, then recycling it stuff, you are going to be able to, if you play the hook build, that is, you are going to be able to cycle your entire deck several times a turn. In my opinion, a game, sorry, not a turn. In my opinion, at least like you are going to see the entirety of it and then maybe a part of it, and you can stack like these cards to the top when you hook and stuff, so you know that you are going to see them again, and then like just super good, right? You can add 2 energy to trigger Rek'Sai's effect when you conquer, to potentially play cards like Naxxas Hopeful, to play smaller cards like turn 1s, to have that extra bit of energy to play spells. Like you could even play Eden Blade, stuff like that, conquering with this card for quote-unquote free, just a power. So like this is super good. I really do like it. I think this is the like kind of missing piece to Rek'Sai, as we have the turn 1 that says when you are going to reveal, you can check the first one and then like bottom or top deck it, whatever you want. So like this was already cycling. We had a Rek'Sai champion that was able to cycle. We had a, I don't remember the name, but like Void something that was like, when you play me from top, I'm cheaper. Like from something else than end, I'm cheaper. And then we have this guy that says, when you reveal me, I'm going to add energy. So like, if we get another card that does something like that, Rek'Sai is probably going to be super consistent. And consistent, like when aggro manages to become consistent, is when it shines the most. Like that's exactly when aggro is shining the most, because then they are able to develop a board basically every game. And the question is like, can your deck answer it? And if you're on something like a control deck, Kaisa, maybe Yi, that's also like not a control but also a slower deck. Sometimes Yi struggles into Victor, for example. You probably don't have an answer to Rek'Sai. So I could see Rek'Sai seeing play. And I think, like, when we talked about card reveals, I should probably bring up the tier maker list though. When we talked about card reveals at first, this was edited last week through reveals. But we had cards like Ezreal, and I think also Ornn. We were like, okay, you guys need to have strong support, but if you have strong support, you are going to be cracked. And we were like, okay, every card that was revealed, we were like, this is not good, this is not good, this is not good. And at some point, you're like, okay, you're probably not going to have the support you need to get there. But Rek'Sai though was probably a bit below, like something like that, I think. But Rek'Sai got exactly everything that we asked for in what it needed. It got the champion that allows you to play for a cheaper rate. It got the cards that allow you to do something when revealed from top of the deck, and it got consistency. And that's everything that we were asking for. So yeah, I kind of feel like Rek'Sai is going to see play and probably going to be a at least decent aggro deck, if not a very good aggro deck as the better version of Hook Darius, basically. Do we have Rek'Sai believers in the chat, though? I am a Rek'Sai believer, dude. I was like kinda hyped. Randy was like kinda not hyped. But I think from what we saw so far from the reveal's perspective, we have to be hyped right now. I hate to say it, but yes. Yeah, me too. I kinda don't like when aggro is too strong, because sometimes aggro being strong also means you play Casino, and if they eat everything, you can't win the game. But I really do think it's going to be strong. Then, next chord, Quicksand Pit. If the chords don't have the name they are supposed to do, it's going to be a pain. Pit. It's going to be something like Moving Sands, and I'm going to be like, oh, sand maybe though. Nah. So let's jump straight to yellow. It is. Here, Drag Under, yeah. Quicksand Pit, Drag Under, FP is this from Lurk. Aggro being strong is good for a meta game. If not too strong, yes. If strong, depends. Because like if you want to play a more like mid-range tempo / control approach, and aggro is just cracked and you can lose to anybody flipping 10 cards from the top of their deck and eating everything, I'm not sure I like that. But I think Rek'Sai is going to be good, for sure. Then we have Drag Unders. Drag Under is a 5 energy and a power spell, so it's like super expensive. It's also an action, and it reads, I cost 2 less to play from anywhere other than your hand. Kill a unit at a battlefield. So it's like pseudo Eden Blade without the drawback. You can kill a unit at a battlefield, but you don't have an option to kill your own units. I mean, you can, but like it would not make sense. It's a bit more expensive than Eden Blade if you play it from the top deck. It's super more expensive if you play it not from the top deck. It can't be Eden. So I think this card is just like, okay, you kind of want to play it in Rek'Sai, right? If you read the effect, you're like, okay, but this costs less when it's played from top deck, so you're like, I have to play this in Rek'Sai. But then if we really do think about it, I think Rek'Sai is just going to be playing Eden Blade, and it's just going to be a better card. Like, you can kill a token to draw 2 cards if you are missing cards in your hands. You can hide it if you don't have that many runes, because you recycle billion runes to hook. I just don't think like this card is super good. I think this port, the I cost 2 less port, is bait to make you think you want to play it in Rek'Sai, but I just don't think it's good enough. Might be wrong though, but I don't see it seeing play. Does not get defied might be relevant. True. The fact that it does not get defied might be relevant, but also I think, one, we are going to see extra counters pop up that are not Defy, so you are going to have to play around other cards also. And 2, Defy is probably not so strong as it was in set 1, because a lot of cards now play around it. Don't get me wrong, it's going to see play. Defy is like most likely a 3-off in any green deck. I'm not saying it's bad, but from a like pure card power perspective, Defy was able to like counter basically anything that's important in set 1, aside from a few signatures and rebuke, basically. We do have a lot of cards that are going to be able to work around Defy one way or another in set 2, and I think this card is going to be like way more balanced in what it can counter and can't, because so far it could basically counter anything. Yeah, this is a Lux card for sure. Yo, Shafa, by the way, I did not see your username, but yeah, welcome to the chat, brother. Next card is Sunk Coast. So, is it Sunk? No, is it Coasts? Coasts. Purple. No. Huh. So let's dash to... Oh, we are in purple already. Down well. Nothing to... Like, not a single letter is right. Once again, how am I supposed to guess, by the way? So let's just be, like, fast on this one. This card is one of the epics you don't want to pack. 8 energy, 2 power. Can't get defied, Kappa. Not against you, Shelfa. Just kidding on Discord. 8 energy, 2 power. Return all units and gear to their honors and... Yo, Bosch, will you be co-streaming Houston Regional? No way. No way. What do you mean, no way? You think this is good? This is not. This is not good for sure. Like, nah, I don't see this thing play. It's basically like more expensive rain, more expensive unchecked power, more expensive blah blah blah. But you just pass your turn to give them an opportunity to play these cards again. And potentially trigger on plays. Like, I don't see it seeing play. I just don't think this is good. Of course, does not get defied though. But Houston, I kinda want to leak, but also some of you guys that are French might be hyped, and some of you guys that are not French might not be hyped. I will be broadcasting Houston Regional on a big channel, I can tell you that, in French though, which I'm sorry for you guys that are in English, that are like English and watching me. I got an offer to broadcast it on a big channel. I'm not going to say the name. I leaked already. I deleted the tweet. I'm not going to be leaking again. But I will be broadcasting Houston on a like super big French channel. I'm super hyped. I'm sorry for you English viewers, but we'll talk about it later. Like, we are going to analyze everything that's happened there, and you are going to have my perspective on things. But like career wise, this is something that I could not say no to. So yeah, I'm hyped. This is going to be super cool. I just feel like sorry for you English speakers in the chat, but don't worry, we are still going to talk about Houston together. French, yeah, sorry Jacob. I got an offer that I could not refuse, and I'm pretty happy to get there. Don't get me wrong. I'm like super happy to have that opportunity. You guys, if you guys are, yeah, I'm sorry, Ray. Like, if you guys are believers, we could see this as a potential opportunity to be on the official broadcast at some point in English. So, but I mean, like, I'm not taking this as only like a way to get there and like grow bigger. It's just a super cool opportunity. Thank you, Ray. Are you paid? Kind of, yeah. Kind of. Like, not money-wise, but kind of. And potentially in the future, if things go well, I'm getting paid, I guess. So yeah, don't want to leak it, but like, if you guys want some perspective on it, the channel has like 800,000 followers. So like, yeah. It's in French, but it's like super big. Paid in products? Nope, I don't think so. Spiritforged packs, maybe I'm getting Spiritforged packs at some point. Don't know. Let's jump onto the next card there. This was one of the things that I wanted to talk about tonight, but without leaking everything, because I'm not supposed to. Ancient Edge. Okay, this one has the correct name. Great. So Ancient Edge is a 2 energy and a power orange gear that is reaction speeds, and you can pay any amount of energy to basically transform it into power. So pay 1 energy, gain a power, pay 2 energy, gain a power, gain 2 power, blah 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 blah. You get me? I don't know what I think about that one. Like, I obviously saw the reveal. I'm not super hype. But also, this makes sense in some decks, like Seaver, once again. Like, you pay power, you generate the token. I could see that. Yeah, like, I just think like this is going to not see a lot of play, I would say, but it's also not trash on paper. Like, these cards, I think it's unplayable. On paper, you could want to, like, the big problem with this card, the big thing that I have is like, one, if you don't see it in the early game, it gets worse. It's kind of like a pseudo seal that gets worse. Two, if you play these cards, it means you have to, because like your deck does not function without it. It costs too much power. So you are playing a billion cards that cost a lot of power. And then if you do so, but don't see that card, it's like super trash. So yeah, a lot of people are like, I saw some people thinking this is cracked. I don't think so. But I'm also kind of like not thinking seals are great, and a lot of people do think seals are great. So from my perspective, I would say this card is not seeing play. From other people's perspective, it seems like it is. So we'll have to see. I might be wrong, but I think this is once again one of the epics that you don't want to open in your booster packs. Yeah, I think it's, I would not say unplayable. I think some decks could make use of it, but I don't think it's like good. I don't think it's a good card. Not playable. Yeah. From my perspective, I don't think it's playable. What decks do you feel are going to be strong with set 2 based on reveal? Yo, Ice Monkey, welcome to the chat. We are going to have a talk about this. So basically what we do, for those of you who are new and just landed, basically what we do is like, we go over every reveal. I give you my opinion on every card. Is it good or not? Should you buy it? Should you play it or not? And then at the very end, we have a talk in which we update the tier list. So when we got the 12 Legends revealed, we did a tier list from only Legend ability. Then last week, from the reveals that we had, we updated it. And then this week, from the reveals that we have, we are going to be updated it. And I'm going to be giving you my opinion on each of these. So feel free to stay there if you want to learn more about it. But I think we are going to see some super good Legends. I think we just talked about Rek'Sai. I think Rek'Sai is one of them. Thank you for the follow, brother. You think Azir is already good? Yeah, I think Azir is already super strong. There's no way it's not. And last card, this one I don't like it neither, but a lot of people like it. I know. Back Ali Barkeep or back Ali. Bro, have at least one word right, I beg you. And it's always them yellow cards that are at the very bottom too. Like, I beg you, please have at least one word card. Glask Mixel. Like, bro. What's... Like, there's not a single letter that is correct. How am I supposed to find it? So, Glask Mixologist, huh? There's not a single letter that's correct though. I think Aether is bad. I don't see how Aether could be bad, but we are going to debate that when we get to the tier list there. So Glask Bro, this is super hard to say on top of it. Glask Mixologist is a 5 energy and a power unit that has 5 might, and that as Death Knell, you may play a unit which costs no more than 3 and no more than 8 power from your trash. This is not like super bad. The rate is decent. Like basically paying a power to spawn a 3 energy and 1 power unit is not bad. Most likely your opponent is going to have to kill it, because like there's not many ways currently in the game to get rid of such a big card without killing it. There are no banish cards, at least not very effective ones. There are no bounce cards for such big cards, so far at least. So basically they kinda have to kill it at some point, which is going to trigger the effect. But also, I think it could just be something like, you want to drop this kind of on curve. So this means that in the early game you have to find and be able to drop that 3 energy and a power unit, because then if you don't have a good target in the trash, what's the point of playing this card, right? So you kinda want to drop said unit on curve, then you kinda want to drop this guy on curve too, and then your opponent can just wait, then you push with that guy, so you are on 7 runes, and then the next turn they kill it, and so like on 8-9 runes you spawned a 3 energy and a power unit, which is like not super good. That's the first thing. Second thing is the card that is currently spawning bodies from the trash effectively is Spectral Matron. But the big difference is Spectral Matron is on play. It's you play me, you spawn someone from your trash with, I think it's 3 energy and power 2. I think that's the rate. And that enables Vanguard Captain. So let me just show you the cards. Spectral is this guy. Yeah, so it's also 3 energy and a power. But then you played a card, and so that enables Vanguard Captain. This guy. Or girl, rather. Which is like, Legion, when you play me, play 2 1 might recruit unit tokens. Which means like you play the card, you bring this back, you have double tokens. Difference is like, oh, what was the name? Glask. Oh, I'm just big brain. Yeah, Glask. Difference is that this one is death now, so most likely it's dying during your opponent's turn. So this also means you have to be able to play a card during your opponent's turn to trigger the Legion of the Vanguard. So like you have to see a turn 3 on curve, then see this guy on curve, then have a chord open to trigger the Legion, else it's not so good. So like, I don't see it as a great chord. I think this is kind of bait. Lebush is stalking Carlos. That could be a thing, yeah. That could be a thing that we want to see this chord with Karus. But then it means that you kind of drop it later on. Because like you have to have a stack trash with several turn 3s. And then is it good later on? Like, is it good in a pseudo late game situation to drop a 5 might non-accelerate 5 energy chord? I don't think so. So yeah, I kinda don't like this chord. I don't think it's super good. I think it's too expensive for what it does. And also, it's super tough to play off Hook, because like 5 might is a big amount for Hook decks. Most of the time you get to 4 at best, and it's Spectral Matron. Looks good to me. Kappa, yeah. Kappa. It can be back. It brings back Careless, but also it does not work with Careless. As in, like, you bring it dies, you bring Careless back, and then you have to have other Death Nails, because Careless is not going to make this chord trigger twice, I think. Waiting for my purple yellow deck and go full Death Nail with Skog. I mean, purple yellow is going to enable some cool stuff, so I'm not going to say this is going to be bad in purple yellow in the future, but it's not before set 4, so I don't think that this chord is seeing play at least until set 4. What time is it? Am I talking too much once again? Oh hell yeah. What did we do? Like 8 chords? Oh no, more than that. Oh, we actually did 12 chords in about an hour, which is like 5 minutes per chord. Okay, I'm doing great, chat. Like, I'm doing super great compared to how much I usually talk though. Hi Pog. Please tell me Tiana is Tiana. Oh, hell yeah, Tiana is Tiana. Purple Yellow is a forbidden combination. It's a forbidden combination until set 4. They already announced that in set 4 they are going to be bringing them forbidden combinations. We are going to have orange blue, purple yellow, and red green in set 4. Yup, exactly. You're right, Ray. Where is this announcement? What was the name? PAX Talk? Yeah, PAX. I think the name of the conference was PAX. They talked about it at PAX. That set 4 will be when they bring opposite colors. Yeah, PAX panel. That's it. Panel. Do you think we will see mono and 3 color? 3 I don't think, or at least not now, like in a long time. Mono I could see it, but then this means the legend is busted. Like, we have to have a busted legend for it to be viable in mono. But most games that allow double colors, basically, like One Piece, Lorcan and stuff, also do allow monocolor. And some of them are super strong because they are monocolor. So, yeah, I could say that. I could say that. She is Lux's mother. Ooh, okay, good to know from a lore POV. I mean, she does look like Lux's mother, though. But a bit on the stricter end of things. So Tiana Crown Guard is a 7 energy 2 power unit that has 4 might and that has deflect while I'm at a battlefield. Opponents can't score points. I'm going to be real. I think this chord is utter trash. I think I never want to play this chord. Like, this chord is kind of green airy, but on inverted steroids. As in, like, okay, this is green airy. So you drop it in the battlefield, but if they have any way to trade it, even if they don't trade like the rest of your battlefields, they can just like bring a unit in there, like 4 might is not that huge, tribute it to be able to score points again. This dies to Singularity. Okay, it has deflect, but like whatever. This dies to Fox, this dies to Darius, this dies to Deadbloom. And you have to stack in the battlefield to make this work. Because like you have to drop a unit in there, and then you have to be able to play Tiana directly in there, because you are never going to be playing that card in base. Like, this is basically wasting a turn. So then this means that you commit into White Flame, you commit into Fox, that are super dominant cards in the current metagame. So yeah, that card is just trash. Like, that card is not going to see play never ever. Except if we have a deck that also locks your opponent from attacking, then maybe it could see play. But like, yeah, no, it's not good. It's way too expensive, not good. I don't see it seeing play. 4 is really bad stats. Yeah, 4 is trash. Yeah, this card is just trash. Let's jump on the next one. This guy, though. If you guys do follow me on Twitter, you guys know I'm fucking excited about Ornn. I can already tease you something. This guy is there. Like, this guy is there. And it's not totally, but like a big part of it is because of that guy. That Ornn is like super good set to confront for sure. It's like giga meta. So Ornn Forge God is a 6 energy, no power. Keep in mind the no power port, because it's like broken. And 4 might, little bit underwhelming. This card has flat out deflect 2. Flat deflect 2. Not deflect 1. Not conditional deflect. No. Flat deflect 2. Also, this card has Weapon Master, which means when you play it, you may equip one of your equipments for a powerless. So basically, it's kinda has negative power. It kinda refounds a power on play, quote unquote. And the effect is I have +1 might for each friendly gear, not equip. Gear. This card is cracked. This card is straight ass busted. So the plan is Ornn now is rather simple. You want to develop early game gears, be it equips or gears, and you're going to see later on that we have a gear that is completely cracked with this card. Like both go together so well. So you can basically, okay, I have a gear that's an equip. I kinda missed. I only saw a gear in the game, and this is in my champion zone, right? Let me get out the pen. Let me epic pen. Let me get out the pen because I need to show you something. This is going to be very simple maths, but this is also going to tell you how strong this card is. This is 6 might, right? So I want to drop it on turn 3. Be it first or second. But I want to drop it on turn 3, right? Potentially. This dude, I'm kinda unlucky. My mulligan did not go so well. I only see something like Doran shields. These shields. In the early game. Okay? This shield is +1 might and you give tank to someone, right? This dude, on play, Weapon Master. So you are now able to equip Doran shield without paying the power. Doran shield gives you +1 might, so you now are 5 might. And then I have +1 for each friendly gear. So Doran shield now puts you at 6 might. Which means you dropped a 6/6, no power cost, Weapon Master, deflect 2 unit. And this is worst case scenario. Because I tell you what, we are going to see gears reveal later on that are completely cracked as busted as at playing with that card. So like this card is broken. This straight up puts Ornn in the top tier category. And I really do think this is going to be a threat in the format. Just this card alone makes me think that Kai'Sa has a non-winnable Ornn matchup. Because how do you deal with that shit? Like, this is worst case scenario. Let's say you have 2 gears. Like, 2 gears is not correct. Like, you drew whatever, Doran shield, and then you have another gear, whatever it is. Let's say another 1 might gear, another Doran shield, for the sake of it. You drop this. You have double Doran shield, right? You drop this. This is like straight up 6 might. Weapon Master, equip Doran shield, 7 might. Ornn's effect, tap him to generate a power. Use power to equip second Doran shield, 8 might. How the fuck do you deal with a 8 might unit that has deflect 2? Like, are you going to be using Iron Blade to pay 3 power? Nah, you're not going to do so. And Kai'Sa does not have something like Iron Blade. So yeah, I think this guy already makes the Kai'Sa matchup kinda unwinnable. Watcher, yeah, but like, you have the right to play around certain cards, and also this does not have accelerate. So this is 8 might in base. You can't Watcher it. Actually makes Svelsonger not a meme. Nah. Svelsonger is a meme. Nah, don't get me started. Svelsonger is a meme. And also good news, this is the rare. This is not the epic, so this is not going to cost a billion bucks. Which we like, right? This guy is correct. And you are going to see later that on its own, this is correct. Like in a vacuum, this is correct. And reveals made it even better. Like we have reveals that work with it so well. Next chord is boards. Boards I like. I think this chord is going to see play at some point. I don't think this is going to be a super strong meta staple, but also I think this is going to see play in certain strategies. So board is a 4 energy and a power unit that has 4 might, and that reads, you may exhaust your legend as an additional cost to play me, and when you play me, if you pay the additional cost, you may move any number of your units to an open battlefield. So I memed on Twitter about using this with, what's the chords? Unchecked power. So unchecked power is 7 energy, then you tap all of your units and you clear the battlefields. And popcorn. Thank you, brother. Hope you're doing great. This is a big week on my end. Do have a lot of stuff to do, but never missing the Wednesday stream, right? This is like our little date, right? No homo, as you said. I mean, I don't mind, but like, as you said, don't worry, nothing sexual there. Just like this is our little rendezvous, if you will. So boards is I think overall good chord. I memed about using unchecked, so like you tap all of your units, you clear the battlefields, then you play boards, and then you bring everyone to battlefields and you score 2 free points. There's nothing they can do about it. Kinda for the meme, right? This is not going to see play that way. But I do think that the fact that you can give pseudo accelerate to a lot of stuff is good. I also do think that blue is a color that has access to super good clearing spells, as in like singularity, that stuff. So let's say they have a unit in both battlefields, having access to like singu, clearing both, then playing boards, bringing someone there would make sense. I don't hate it. I think overall it's a decent card. I think it's going to see play at some point. I just don't think that right now we have a legend that completely benefits from board being there. But I could see it. Gay Kappa. I missed you talking about Blue Horn. I think it's Voltron power. Blue Horn is super duper correct. It's the best champion we've seen so far in set 2. It's like insane correct. Maybe it fights with Green Irelia. But I think it's better than Green Irelia. It's just so strong. Then we have Brutalizer. So Brutalizer is an equip, actually. Could I see it here, or is it the end of it? No, we can still see it here. Brutalizer is a 2 energy equip that you have to pay a power to attach, and this gives +1 might. But if this was attached to me this turn, I have another +2 might. I don't think it's super good in like every green deck, but I do think some green decks are going to make use of it pretty good. The first one I'm thinking about top of my head is obviously Jax, because Jax can move it around. So you can swap it from unit to unit, and then basically just like permanently give +3 might each turn, because you just like play a unit, move it there, kinda. Aside from that, I think legends like Orn and stuff that revolve around gear are going to be looking into either cheaper good options, the Runwing and stuff, or big ass gears that give a lot of value, like Sterak. And this one seems to be a bit like right in the middle, which is not something that you like usually. Aesir tokens. This could be decent in Aesir, but also my problem with it and Weapon Master is that you have to have a Weapon Master that can also accelerate, else Weapon Master procs on play, you equip this, and then they don't do anything, and next turn they don't have the buff anymore. So like, it could see play with the green Aesir that swaps units and moves equips around, but I still don't think it's like super good. So yeah, I don't think this card is going to see a lot of play, aside from Jax. I think in Jax it's a very good card, like having 2 units and moving this like in between those, having +3 might every turn is obviously good. So yeah, I could see that card seeing playing Jax. Aside from that, I don't see it being a meta staple. Odd Bargain. So this was one of my most interacted tweets of the week. because a lot of people seem to think this card is like super broken, or at least on the broken end of the stuff, and I do think it's most likely bait. But let's see. I'm not sure it will be played in Aether. If it's played in Aether, it's because like it works with the green Aether. But I think it's too situational to see play. I think this card is on the bait end of the set. So this card is Horde Bargain. You say this card is baity? Yeah, I think so. This is a 2 energy spell that has no power cost, that you can play at reaction speed, and that has repeat 2. So basically you pay potentially 4 energy to apply the effect twice. And this reads counter a spell unless its controller pays 2 energy. So subsequently, it's a card that you want to play in purple decks that are non-green, as in like an additional counter. Also, it introduces the counter mechanic to purple, because I don't think purple had a single counter card. My man did not learn from Time Warp. I was kind of right on Time Warp though. We saw cases stopping with like Time Warp. We saw some of Time Warps going to sideboard, which is what I said. I said I don't think it's a bot card. I think it's a side deck card. And we also reduced from like 2 main to 1 main. And I think in Houston we are going to see no Time Warp decks. We are seeing a lot more no Time Warp decks popping up lately, because like the game released in the West, right? So we are keen to innovation and stuff. And most of the time also, if you watch games with Time Warp, they don't even play Time Warp because they are afraid of Windwall. So like, why would you play it then? So Horde Bargain is pretty good in its effect, right? If you only think about the effect, it's pretty good. This is probably a code that we are going to take quite some time talking about, because I have to go quite deep in the thoughts to explain why I think it's baity. But also, let me make a clear disclaimer. I don't think this code is trash, but people have been saying it's an overall staple, which I don't think so. And I think they just overrated a lot, and it's just situationally good and not a staple, in a way. So staple is like mandatory 3-off in the deck. So why do I think it's not so good? So far, at least with what we got right now, purple is aggro-ish. If we want to think about them decks that are in that range of aggro decks, we have Any, at least decks that are doing well. We have Any, we have Teemo, that's not aggro-ish, that's kind of a weird deck, but like tempo-ish, has to put a lot of boards. We can expect Irelia to do good in set 2. We kinda don't expect Azrael to do good. Severe, potentially, don't see it. And Draven is going to be aggro, right? That's basically what I would say. First thing is aggro. If you are not Any, you have to use the entirety of your runes to develop board, because that's what the aggro mechanic implies. Like if you have an option between dropping a 2 energy unit and dropping, like keeping 2 runes open to potentially use a 2 energy spell, 100% of the time, or like 99% of the time, you want to develop the unit, to have the boards to be able to be what you do best at aggroing your opponents. So that's the first thing for aggro. In like more mid-range decks like Teemo and stuff, you still have to develop a lot of boards to be able to take over the game, and you also want to cycle. A Discord is 1, not a core that helps you find Mundo and cycle, and 2, not a core that helps you develop boards. So for this reason, I kinda don't like it. Next, third reason is, I think most of the interactions we could see it want to counter are cheap enough that as the opponent, I would be willing to pay 2 extra energy to still resolve them. If I'm playing Teemo and like I'm going Mundo Ride the Wind, I'm the green player. Yeah, I still want to defy, even for 3 energy. Like, you lost the game if I defy, so why would I not? Yeah, I still want to use Rune Prison for 4 energy, because like, why would I not? You lost the game if I do this. And they are cheap enough so that I can keep 4 runes open if I have Rune Prison. It's like not impossible, right? If you are on MF and you want to use this on like Sabotage, on like what was the course name? Acceptable Losses, the spells that clear gear. They are on 1 and 2 energy base cost. So like well, yeah, I'm down to play 3 to 4 energy to clear your aura. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, it's so good. And then if you're playing aggro, the only scenario in which this works, as in like any Draven, is I have to play a big blowout spell, and I don't have the time to wait to have them 2 extra runes open to play it. So like, you are on 6-7 points, and I am only on like 7-8 runes, and I have to play Icat and Rain, because if I don't, you win the game. Okay, then this makes sense, right? Like, this makes sense. But also, this is not a scenario that you can like rely on. Like, this is not what happens in like real life situation all of the time. This will happen. But then if this happens, most of the time you were winning already, because you were that far ahead that you were forcing me to use a chord disrespecting that chord. And like, then, okay, you win the game. But were you not winning already is my point. So maybe in any, this could see play because of the 2 free runes that you have access to. But then if it's only played in a specific deck as a 2-off or something like that, do you consider it an overall staple? I would not. I think this is not a core that is going to see that much play in purple. I think though this is a core that we are going to have to play around. That's for sure. You don't want to commit into it blindly. Probably it's seeing play at the beginning of the day, the set, because people don't play around it, so they lose on it. But I think the further we are going to get into competing and understanding the metagame, the worse this card is going to get. Also, I forgot to talk about the last example in Irelia. And yes, you potentially, if you will. Green-purple is never going to be playing this card, in my opinion, because this card is worth than green counters, and you have access to green counters. So like, purple-red is aggro. Don't see where you value this aside from being any, and then I'm not even sure this is like super duper value. Purple orange is ramp-ish, big bodies. I don't see this card seeing play in the strategy for the reasons I explained earlier. Purple green is Irelian stuff, they have better counters. And what is the one that I missed? Green, red, yellow. No, yellow does not exist. Blue. Purple blue could potentially see play this. Like Timo and stuff, you could potentially play this as a 1 or 2 off. But then like, I'm still fine paying 4 energy to rune prison you and close the game. So yeah, I don't see this card being like a super good staple. What is 6-7 Wargross? It's a sideboard staple for purple and main deck in any. It's probably main deck in any. Is it a sideboard staple in purple though? Not sure about that. Like, I could see it. And also, okay, also there's something that I forgot to talk about. In the interaction with Irelia, I think this card, with the repeat stuff, this card was kinda designed to be a counter to green. Like, they use a spell, you use a spell, I don't know, like basic chain. They use Engward to buff, you chain Ghost to bounce, they chain Discipline to like prevent the bouncing, and then you go bargain, repeat, both cards cost 2 more, so now pick your poison. Like, green is kind of the only color that can stack them big chains, and I think this was designed as a counter to green. But also, I do think the better green deck as activating spells in the upcoming formats is going to be Irelia. And Irelia is when you target a unit. When you target green Irelia, it gains +1. When you target a unit, Irelia is paying a power to ready it. So they can very well decide to, like, they use Engward on green Irelia. This gives it +1. They decide not to resolve because like they don't want to pay the 2 extra energy. Then you waste it, quote unquote, your cards. And then Irelia Legend activates, targeting the green Irelia once again. So it's +1 once again and it's ready. And like, does not matter that it does not resolve because you still targeted it. So it's like Dreaming Tree, it still works. So yeah, I don't think Horde Bargain is going to be such a strong card. Will see play, not saying it's not going to see play. Will be such a strong staple as people were talking like, this is so broken, like this is going to break purple. I think purple is going to be super strong in set 2, but I don't think this card is going to be the reason why. Would be my take. if I learned anything from playing Magic is that this kind of pay counter spells usually suck again unless one cost. Yeah, I think DeFi is stronger. But I would not say big counter spells suck. I just don't think this card is seeing like that much play. Once again, I might be wrong, but I feel like everything that I just said makes sense in a way of like trying to analyze like plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. Every color combination does not work, kinda works, does not work, does not work. Then I can't consider it as like staple, overall staple. Next card is another Ornn in the green Ornn. So this one I'm hyped about more as a card type than as what it actually is. So this is a 5 energy and a power champion that has 5 might too, and that reads when you play me or when I hold, look at the top 4 cards of your main deck. You may reveal a gear from among them and draw it, then recycle the rest. I kinda asked for Ornn to have a gear searcher. I love it that they brought this to the game. I don't think this is super good, especially because blue Ornn is so cracked that I don't see a way we play this card in the champion spot. And if we don't, I kinda don't think this card is like super cracked. Because if you don't find it on, like you don't even want to play it on curve that bad, but it's where it shines. And like in the later game, this is not good. Does not have accelerate, does not control the board. Searches for gears that most likely don't control the board neither and are getting worse the longer the game goes. So like potentially not seeing play or as a consistency tool, but not such a big tool in Ornn. The only thing that I like about this card is that it, like they said, we are never going to have searchers in the sense that you look through your deck and you pick the card you want and you add it to your hands. This card is the One Piece way, as in like you never have that opportunity to look through your deck and dig for a card and add it to the hand, but you can dig through your top deck. And this I like a lot. I think consistency is a big way to improve the skill rate in TCGs. I think the more consistent the deck are, if they are on par with each other consistency wise, I think the more skill intensive the game becomes, because players can't completely whiff because we have searchers and we have ways to cycle and find the tools. And then if everyone has the tools, it's the one that uses them better that wins the game, right? So I really do think consistency is important. I really do like this kind of concept of like, I have a synergy with a specific type of card, then I dig through the top of my deck to find it. I just don't think this card is good, especially because blue Ornn is so cracked. So I think blue Ornn is just going to be the one seeing play. But I do like green Ornn though. I think this card is not trash neither. And I do like that splash art. So dope. I would make it play it for free if it costs 1 energy and 1 power or less. What do you mean? Oh, you're talking about the counter spell, right? Okay, I gotcha. Next champion is the counterpart for green Aether in yellow Aether. The gear. I would make it play it for free if it costed 1 energy and 1 power or less. Yeah. That would have probably made the card better and a bit less on the slower end, because right now it's a bit too slow. Yeah. If this had a cost reduction on the gear that it fetches, yeah, that would be good. Next card is Aether Sovereign, a 4 energy 4 might unit that has access to the accelerate keyword, so potentially 5 energy and a power play me ready. And then when I attack, you may move any number of your token units to this battlefield. So this is the card that we saw in the reveal video from Dave and Chengren. This is good. The part that we missed was the token part, because we had, when I attack, you may move any number of your to this battlefield. If this was units, this would have been completely cracked. The way it is right now, I still think it's decent. The only thing is like, I think like both Aether champions are decent, but is one of them good enough to take the deck to that next level? Is what I'm uncertain of. I do like that card though. I think like going turn 1, drop an equip, spawn a soldier, equip it, then turn 2, this Aether, push the soldier to a battlefield. Let's say you have Doran Shield on the soldier, so it has tank, and then you accelerate this guy. you push the other battlefields, you bring the soldier with you guys, so you have tank and you clear. This has a lot of value as a tempo deck, and I think that's what S0 is going to be. And then potentially you like your token dies, you can pay the power to equip the Ranch Shell to A0. Would make sense too. So I don't think like this is bad by any means. I just don't think any of the S0 champions is like cracked. This one is overall good, and the other one is super good but super expensive. But it's like obviously super good, right? But super expensive. So I think both are good. Both are great additions to Azir. They also give a lot of flexibility deck building wise because they don't do the same thing. So like you have, if one of them like works better with what you built in the deck, you have the decision to play it or not. And also I like this artwork a lot. But like yeah, overall I think this card is like still good and probably going to see play in the champion zone, at least through testing. Like if I'm slotting this in my champion zone, I'm not thinking to myself, yeah, this is trash. Like I'm playing a good card in my champion zone for sure. Then we have Ornn's Forge. What a cool card. What a cool card. Talk about God of the Forge, right? So Ornn's Forge is a battlefield. I'm just going to use this because it's big so you guys can see it properly. Ornn's Forge is while you control these battlefields, the first friendly non-token gear played each turn costs 1 less. The only question to see if this card is worth it is, do we have enough quick draw gears? So the gears that say like you can play me as reaction speed. Because if we have some of them that are good, like let's say at least 2 or 3 of them, so we can play like from 6 to 9 copies in the deck, then this card could be good because you can benefit from it during your turn and then your opponent's turn. Would make sense. But aside from that, this means that you have to control it. So it's basically a hold effect, but you can trigger it without completing that full turn of holding. But then if you do so and you have gears to like reinforce your units, why wouldn't you just play Growth? I think Growth is just a better card. Like it's straight up better to draw than to reduce the cost for an equip. So I think it's kind of baity, just like the this one that is also baity. It's not trash on paper, but I don't see it like better than Growth. And then I also think there are going to be a lot of equipped decks, and you don't want to play a battlefield that like you play this game one, and then you are like, okay, this is neutral, but you lose the dice roll and your opponent is on the equipped deck, Ornn, Jax, potentially Lucian, whatever. Then do you really want to have this on board, not going first? Not so sure. I don't think so. So like, I don't think this is trash. Probably going to see a bit of play, but don't like it neither. Yup, defender controls the battlefield and attacker does not control it, which means you can't play Shen in there if you're an attacker, for example. Next card is Experimental X-Plate. So X-Plate is a... Actually, it's fine that way now. Like, you guys can read. X-Tech is a 1 energy gear equipment that you can pay a power to attach to a unit. And that reads +1 might, and also I am a mech. Which means the unit that it's equipped to instantly becomes a mech. First thing that came to my mind when I saw this card was like that meme from like I sexually identify as an attack helicopter or like an assault helicopter or whatever. Like just that sentence of like I am a mech dot just made me laugh so bad. Like it was like, what the fuck do you mean I am a mech? But then I kinda get it. Yeah, I don't like it. I mean, yeah, it's probably seeing play in Rumble. It's decent in Rumble, of course. It could even see play in like blue decks that want cheap gears, because then you have a gear that like not expensive and that generates that free might. But other cheap gears are better and like playable in like a lot of decks. Doran Shield is playable in a lot of green decks. Yellow Scissors are playable in a lot of green decks. Guardian Angel is playable in a lot of green decks. I think this card is not seeing play outside of Rumble. And I think the I am a mech keywords is like decent but not so good if you don't have a billion codes to set it up. Because like we now have decent mech cards, but you have to combine them all together. And like so far, from what I've seen, if you are playing into some kind of control-ish deck, like for example Kaisa, you have no way to win that game as Rumble, in my opinion. I think in Rumble we could see play there. If Rumble is good and if there are a core that Rumble really wants that isn't a mech, this might see play. Yeah. That's a lot of like stuff that has to click together to make this card playable. If mechs are bad, just make good mech cards. We have good mech cards. We have 2 good mech cards, but like they are not good because they are mechs. They are just overall good, which means like as we talked about before, like if they are good, they are probably seeing play in a deck that is not mech focused because they are just good cards. And Rumble is bad, so yeah, kinda. K says don't need to be mech. Yeah. K says don't need to be mech for sure. Now we have Jace, Man of Progress. So this was a super big bait on Twitter. People were talking about this with like Aegis of the Legion stuff. Nah. Did we talk Ez? Nope. None of both, I think. Oh, we talked about blue Ez last week, but not purple Ez. That's the correct answer. So this Jace is a 4 energy, 4 might unit that reads, when you play me, you may kill a friendly gear. If you do, you may play a gear with energy cost no more than 7 from your end this turn, ignoring its energy cost. So the plan here is like, people were talking about like, because of Aegis. Let me just show you Aegis. Huh? Oh, it's not the name, Legion? Please. Oh, shields. Or did we not see Aegis yet? Maybe we did not see. I think we saw it though. Okay, let me get to the yellow cards. Oh, we started from the bottom. Actually good. Aegis, Vanguards. Yeah, that thing, like that thingy. So Vanguard's Armory is like, they were like, okay, but then you play a seal in the early game, and then you play Jace, and then you trigger Jace, you kill the seal, and you play this in the early game, and this is cracked. This is shit. This is not good. You are paying Jace 4 energy to play this shit. You still pay the power cost, and then you have to have drawn the seal. If you did not, this is unplayable. Also, like, you have to like play a bunch of super expensive gears, because then if you don't play them and you have Jace but then you only have a seal in hand, like that card is not playable. That does not do anything. And also, if you play a lot of them expensive gears and you draw them but you don't draw Jace, then it's hook but worse. Like, you are stuck with super big gears that you can never play. What's not good in Hook is that you have to play Draven, you have to play Spectral Matron. These are expensive, but they are playable. Big gear, like playing this flat out from the end, is unplayable. It's never going to happen. This card is unplayable, guys. No, this card is unplayable. Like, I saw someone tweet about like having all of them cards together in a deck and getting like 1 billion likes. And I was like, huh? Like, are we really believing that this is going to be good? Do we really think that this is going to see play? Because I tell you what, it's not going to see play. This is dead ass trash. This is trash. This is not seeing play, for sure. 100% confirmed this is not seeing play. I was laughing so hard. Yeah, I was like, huh? Like, did we not evolve as human beings from the past like 25 years of TCGs? Are we still like TCG monkeys? Like, ooh, this is seeing play. No, this is not. This is not. Then this one is good. I'm gonna lose my first skirmish to this. please. I did lose a skirmish, actually. I did attend a skirmish last weekend. That did not go so well. I traveled with the special Ari Brew, which we agreed on, sorry, that it's like so much better when you play into people that don't know it. Because like they expect the ramp area list and they face the temple list. That's like surprising. They don't play around the courts. It's like so much better, right? Okay. I went there 5 rounds. Over 5 rounds, I played against 4 of my testing partners. We drove 2 hours to get there. We drove about 2 hours to get there. Over 5 rounds, I played against 4 of my testing partners that knew every single chord that was in my deck. So like no surprise at all. And doing that, I managed to reach the last round to make it to top 8. I played one of my testing partners that was on Kaisa. I got blasted my ass off. Like they used 8 spells a game. Not like in the best of 3 as a whole. They played Kaisa. They used 8 spells a game. Every turn was like Falling Star. Okay, well, Recall, Retreat. Okay, then Ray. Defy. Okay, then Void Seeker. And I was like, every single turn. And I drew 1 buff, not per game. Because you would think per game, but not per game. I drew 1 buff over the 2 games. I played 0 retreats, 0 discipline, and 1 singular Engort, which are the key cards in that matchup. So, yeah, I got stomped out of top 8, but my teammates ended up winning it all. So I guess that's fine. We went there as 8 men, or like 8 persons, because there was a girl there. It was top 8 out of 32 players, and 6 of the top 8 spots were my testing partners, and we ended up winning it all. So like, and check, I guess. I was just the guy that could not win this time. That's about it. Do you have a video of it asking for a friend? No, I don't. I don't. That's my bad though. I called one of them friends to grab the cameras for me to be able to record, but I forgot the tripod. So I could not record. I had the mics, I had the computer, I had the charger for the computer, I had the cameras, but I had no tripod. My bad, I guess. That happens to other players. Like, bro, and then they were like, okay, but if you were not on Airy, and I was talking, I was like, bro, tell me about one deck in the game that can tank 8 spells from Kaisa and not lose from it. And I was like, if you say Master Yi, I'm beating your ass. Because Master Yi is not surviving to 8 spells from Kaisa every game. They are just not. They are just not. As blessed sports, yeah, okay. Gotcha. Now I got blasted. And the other game that I lost was like just about the same. It was not Kaisa, it was Yi. But like I super low rolled. They super high rolled. I made a slight mistake in this. Like game 1 was super unfavored. I made a slight mistake because so basically I had Sona and Shield Poro, I think, in the battlefield, and I did not have a buff or a smoke screen or something like that. And they have a Poro, I think, in base. And I was like, they are getting to 8 runes next turn, right? And I was like, they are, even if they have White Flame, they are never going to use it because they are going to full tap if they do so. And then if I have something like a smoke screen, I clear like their attacker. So it's like whatever. So I don't have smoke screen, right? But I think I was considering that they would not go for that play because they would think I have at least something to answer, which I did not. But like, obviously they have to play around it. But they told me, yeah, but like, let's say you kill that Poro. Next turn I have White Flame on boards and I can go Yi Champion plus White Flame and get a trade. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. So if I had to play around this potential play, I would probably not have committed so much to the battlefield. I would have probably retreated the Poro to at least have something in base. But like, they drew super good and White Flame uncover stuff, and I did not draw good at all. And then game 2 was straight up unplayable. Like they had, like I'm the spell deck with like the Defies and Stupefies and Smoke Screens and Engwards and Discipline. I did not see a single buff. They saw like double Engward, double Discipline, double Defy, something like that. And like turn 3, I think, or 4, my end was 6 cards, 3 Sunners and 3 Green Porers. And that's it. No more cards. And I was like, yeah, I'm not winning that one. I saw your list, I had no Watcher, not AC. I did play 2 Watchers this weekend. Not because I think it's such a good card, but because my playtest partners know that I don't play it. So they disrespect it when they play against me. So this was kind of the surprise port, like the spicy port, that I was like, I think we are strong as a playtesting group. So I expect a lot of us to make it to Top Cut. And if we do make it to Top Cut and end up facing each other, I'm going to have that extra bit of spice that's going to surprise them and maybe turn the game in my favor. But we did not get to that point, unfortunately. But like they performed as expected, which was like decent into some matchups and then super bad into Kaisa because you pay too much power so you can never enable them, basically. So that's about it for my skirmish report, if you wanted it. And if you did not want it, well, you still have it, right? Sorry about that. Let me just clear my throat and now we'll start talking about that court. But overall, I could have played game 1 into E better. Probably. So let's say I play game 1 better, then I win it. Then I lose game 2 because I can't play. Then maybe we have a game 3. And that changes everything, right? If I win, I'm top, and then who knows? So yeah, I would not say I'm like 100% satisfied. Also because I faced 4 of the playtest partners that was the worst part. But that's about it. Life, I guess. So next card is Ferrous Forerunner. Ferrous Forerunner is a 6 energy and a power card that has 6 might. That is a mech. Usually I'm not talking about archetypes, but like Rumble stuff, so I have to talk about mechs. And that card has Death Knell. Play 2 3 might mech unit tokens to your base. I don't like that card because it's a mech. I like it because it's a good card. It's just an overall good card. The rate that you have to pay is not so expensive. The stats are decent. It's a bit slow, but it's fine because you can play it rather early in the game. And the fact that when it dies, it plays 2 3 might units, is also kind of good because once again, there are not many ways to deal with these big ass units that are not killing them. Like there are not cards that could bounce this, no cards that could banish this. Basically, if you want to get rid of it, you have to kill it. And then if you kill it, you get an extra push and you get equivalent of 12 might for 6 energy and a power. So this is good. I even think it's like not as good as it could be in Rumble. Because once again, Rumble gives shields. And so like, okay, even if this is in battlefield, like this gets traded over by like Fox, Darius, whatever. Then you play tokens in base. These tokens don't have anything to attack. They basically are like 3 might unit and that's it. Shield does not work. So I would not say I hate it, but I would have preferred if we could like play them normally, and then it means we can either play them in the base or in a battlefield we control, and then we can instantly trigger that shield port. But that card is good. That card is like super good. Nothing to add about that. Like it's just an overall card. Now, time to talk about the underestimated card of the set. Potentially one of the most broken cards of the set. Potentially the card that is making me play Ornn next set. Because you guys know I'm a big green fan, like a big Com fan. Most of the time, I think playing Com is going to be the better option for a skilled player going into a major event. But I was not like stuck on that blue counterpart. I just play Ari because I think it's super good and super underestimated. But like if I had to play like green, red, green, orange, whatever, because it's good and I like the playstyle, I would have done so. But then Ornn, blue Ornn is already a super good unit, and now we have access to this. So this Chemtech Cask is a 1 energy gear, no power cost. It's not an equip there, it's only a gear that reads when you play a spell on an opponent's turn, you may exhaust me to play a gold gear token exhausted. And this is the absolute perfect card at playing with green, means your Engords now generate a gold gear token. Your disciplines now generate a gold gear token. Your what's the name? Feral Strength are going to do so. Your Stupefies are going to do so. Retreats are going to generate a gold gear token. So like you have access to all of these spells packed together that are going to be so strong. And also, this card is like super cracked in Ornn, because remember, blue Ornn rates, you give me +1 for every gear that you have on like the board. So this alone gives you +1, but then every gold gear token that you spawn of it also gives you +1. So let's say I use Engward. Now Engward is +3, because tap 1, play it on Ornn, +2, then spawn a gold gear, +1 again. So Ornn is now +3. Like this is cracked. And also one of the big problems for green is that you have to pay a lot of power. Sona is super good but costs a power. Defy is super good but costs a power. Windwow is super good but costs power. Clockwork potentially is super good but costs a power. Like there are a lot of them cards. Even like in blue, like Fox Watcher is super good but costs 2 power. So like there are a lot of them cards that you want to play that cost power. And Chemtem Cask is going to help you deal with that issue. In the early game, of course, but also in the later game. Because then, let's say you don't draw it in the early game, but you draw it like later on, you're still going to be wanting to play them spells, them defies, them disciplines and stuff. So like it's not as good, but it's not like compared to a seal in which you probably played most of the cards you wanted to value of seal. You are still going to be wanting to value cards of Chemtem Cask in the late game. And also, last thing is, you kind of want to play 3 of these because you want to open it. It's so strong when opens. But then if you draw several of them, they don't stack that bad. Because like if I draw one in my opening end and let's say like 2 turns later, I draw another one. If I have any extra energy open, I can drop it. And then if I play a single spell, I generate 2 power and 2 gears. So like I think this card is going to be super cracked in a lot of decks. I think it's kind of underestimated. As in like, some people think it's busted, but I've seen more talk about the purple counter than about this card, while I think this card is like on another level of broken. So yeah, I think this card is going to see play. It's like completely cracked. Worm Coil Forerunner. This guy, I don't know what Worm Coil is there. We're gonna have a quick look at them. Spiritforged, what's the name of the skin line? Spirit Blossom, sorry. Reveals, but like not much to talk about. Art, these are super cool. This turbo charges Ornn so Lord. Yeah, this is so cracked in Ornn. Like there's no way this card is not seeing play in Ornn. It's an MTG card. Okay. That probably spawns token when it dies, I guess. Would make sense. Then we have Thwonk. Thwonk is very bad resolution. Let me see if we can grab it there. Thwonk. Oh, Thwonk. Thwonk. Welcome edges literally card that's 6/6 that as death now get 2/3 range. Okay, so it's literally a Magic the Gathering card. Gotcha. Good card. Overall good card. Thwonk is a 2 energy spell that is action speed and that has repeat 2. So you can potentially play 4 to apply the effect twice. And that says stun and attacking units. I think it's just a straight up upgrade to Rune Prison. I've seen a lot, like I posted straight up upgrade to Rune Prison IC. A lot of people were like, yeah, but Rune Prison sometimes you want to use attacking. Kinda don't see it. Like most of the time you use this defending because you are ahead or you are playing in like a matchup that is focusing on dropping big units. So they are getting behind in the late game no matter if they go first or second. And then I can just like get the hold in the early game and want to Rune Prison them in the late game. Hello Yi, for example. Super good in these matchups. Being able to stun 2 units also plays around one of the problems of Rune Prison, which is like sometimes it was not enough to beat down Aura specifically, because they can like spend a turn building a base and then next turn they come at you with everything, and then sometimes Rune Prison is not enough. With this you can potentially play the repeat ports and like make it work. Both cards are action speeds. Rune Prison costs a power, this card does not. So I just do think this card is like overall better than Rune Prison. Maybe at some point we are going to see both seeing play. And also someone mentioned Leona, as in like, yeah, but Leona also wants to stun attacking, which this is true. I think for other decks it's like kind of a bias, but for Leona this is true. But Leona has yellow Leona. That is like the best card in the game at stunning and attacking at the same time. So like you are very fine playing cards like Facebreaker that are mostly defensive tools. But because you have yellow Leona, you have them attacking stuns incorporated in the champion zone already, and then you have the defensive stuns in your hands. So yeah, I kinda like Thwonk. I think it's a good card. Upgrade to Rune Prison, and you guys know that I value Rune Prison a lot. So yeah, I like that card. I think it's good. Broken, I don't know, but good for sure. Rek'Sai is like super cool card. I love it. I feel like they could have made it a bit more yellowish, because like the theme for this extension is like the two colors of your champion as a painting style. They could have made it a bit more yellowish, but I kind of like it still. I think it's a cool chord. Next chord is Aspiring Engineer. Aspiring Engineer is a 3 energy and a power unit that has 3 might, and that reads when you play me, return a gear from your trash to your hands. I do think that chord is bait. If this chord was when you play me, play a gear from your trash that is less than XXX, I could see it, just kind of a spectral matron for gears. Then the rate would not be that bad. But now you still have to play for the gear. So like it's basically purple Annie for gears. But in the set 2 we also get Fizz that is like on another level of playing cards from the trash. So I don't see this card seeing play. Also I don't think gear decks are going to be 100% focused on gears. I think you want to play something like, let's say up to 15 gears if you have good enough copies of them in Ornn and stuff. I don't think you want to play more than that, because like once you have a gear in play, you can technically equip it every turn with Ornn's power generation. So like you don't need to have a billion of them. Just having like 2-3 of them is good enough. And also if they use something like Thermal Beam, you don't lose the game on the spot. Whereas like if your whole game plan is dedicated to like building a strong field of gears and they use Thermal Beam, they just send you into oblivion. So yeah, I don't think like that card is going to be cracked. But maybe some decks that really do rely on a specific gear could need this. From the reviews that we have so far, I don't see a deck being in that specific scenario. Now we have 2 extra cards. One of them is Frostcoat Cobb, which is a 3 energy, 3 might unit with no power cost, but you may pay an extra power as an additional cost to play it, so potentially 3 energy and a power. And then when you play me, if you pay the additional cost, give a unit -2 might this turn. This card is probably not seeing play. You have better cards at reducing might in blue already. I'm thinking Smokescreen, Stupefy, and Fox. What's super good with Fox is that it combines the might reduction and the trading port. Like, it reduces might, and also it's a body that is able to force the trade on the enemy units that are reduced, right? This card you have to have something to trade with, be it a spell or a unit, else you can't value it. So yeah, I kinda don't like it. Not making this a 2-drop is a shame. Yeah, as a 2-drop, it would probably have been better. So like you can drop it as a vanilla in the early game and you don't lose value off of it. But I kinda don't like it. And next card is Bubblebot. And Bubblebot is just worst first mates. So Bubblebot is a mech, so you guys know. It's a 3 energy, 3 might unit that has, when you play me, ready another friendly mech. So it's first mates, but for mechs only. The idea is that it benefits from all of the buffs of the mechs. But then once again, it's only playable in mechs, and mechs are probably not good, right? So I don't see this card seeing play outside of Rumble. Probably in Rumble it's seeing play, because like, yeah, good in Rumble. But then, is it that good that you want to play it in other colors because other mechs are good? Nope. And is Rumble that good that you want to say, okay, this card is going to be cracked because Rumble is going to be cracked? Nope. So I would probably say we don't want to get this card. Like, it's a common, so we will get it anyway, but like, I don't think this is going to be a meta staple by any means. It's in another color. Yes, it is in another color, but it only works with mechs. So basically it does not matter. It's kind of colorless. It's kind of colorless. Like the only thing that we have to care about is mechs. It like you can't play this in Kaisa. You can't play this in what's blue? Victor. You can't play this in Renata. You basically can only play it in Rumble. It's kind of colorless in a way. If this was generic first made for blue, this would be good though, but it's not. Blah 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 blah. Jace, blah 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 blah. Alternative artworks, blah blah blah. Qualifiers, blah blah blah. New chords once again. Do we have that in the gallery? We do. Okay, great. Great. So blue Rumble champion. We now know about the 2 Rumble champion. The other one was leaked just before I started the stream, I think, or like when I was starting the stream. But we are going to be talking about the red one later on. Blue Rumble is a 5 energy, 1 power, 4 might units. That means your mechs have +1 might, including me. And then when I hold, you may play a 3 might mech unit token to your base. So this is not so bad because basically when you play it, it's a 5/5, right? That buffs all of your mechs. So this kind of gives them that explosiveness that they miss in like they can now attack because they now have a buff attacking. But it's also slow, first of all. It's also expensive, so you have to drop it in the mid to late game in the battlefield you already control, which Rumble does not have so many tools to do so. You have the shield port, but to get in there and be actually effective at attacking it, not so easy. And also the when I hold play a 3 might mech unit token to your base port. I think if you're holding with Rumble, it means you're in the lead, because this means they don't have what it takes to deal with your shields, and then you are most likely holding for quite some time. So I don't think this is trash, but once again, it's kind of colorless. It's kind of Rumble-ish, and that's it. And yeah, I don't think Rumble is going to be good. Once again, signature is not good enough. And the alt art, I do love it. Disco Rumble, I love it. What Red Rumble do? Want to look about at it right now so we can talk Rumble? I've not seen it though. I've not seen Red Rumble. Let's see. I think I only saw the notification that it was revealed. So it's a 4/4 champion. Your mechs each have assault. Okay, that is better because 1, you can play it earlier, and 2, your mechs now have tools to fight for the battlefields. When I conquer, you may recycle another friendly unit to play a mech from your trash. Reduce its energy cost by the might of the unit you recycled. Ooh. Okay, this one is 6. This one is 6. So this one is 5 might, because like you play it, then you want to assault. Okay, this is a good chord. I don't think this makes Rumble good enough, because like the rest is bad. Signature is bad. Legend is bad. Mechs are not so good. But this probably makes Rumble playable. Like not competitively, but function as a deck. Before it was not functioning. I think like right now it could function. I'm not saying this is correct though, but I guess it functions as a deck. Is Rek'Sai sort of an aggressive deck? Kinda like her, but I don't want to have to buy Kaisa. Yeah, Rek'Sai is exactly that, an aggressive deck. That is swarming the boards, digging through the top deck, getting freebies on playing units and stuff, and yeah, playing a lot of tokens, going right and left, fighting, swarming the board. Yeah, exactly, Rek'Sai basically. Commercial started. Okay, I will just do it again after the commercial. Don't worry. I will just say this again after the commercial. Next unit is Orange Fiora. Do we have this one? We do, great. I will just wait for the ad to be over, but I don't have it though on screen, so I don't see it. Is the ad over? Is the problem, because I don't see it. So could we say the ad is over? I don't know. It's over, yes? Okay, great. So yeah, Rek'Sai is an aggressive deck, for sure. Spawning bodies, getting freebies at playing units from the top of the deck, right and left. Yeah, Rek'Sai is definitely an aggressive legend that is going to be swarming the board for sure. And yeah, if you want to play aggro, you might want to play Rexa. It's going to be a very viable deck, in my opinion. Orange Fiore is 3 energy and a power for 3 might, and reads when I attack or defend 1-on-1, double my might this combat. This is in E. What the hell? Funnily enough, I don't think it's super good. I think this card is not as reliable as Yellow Fiore. Yellow Fiore, you can make it worth it the turn you play it. Like, you play Yellow Fiore, you drop something like back-to-back, Call to Glory, or maybe Call to Glory spending an already existing buff on your board, like C3 or something. You can, like, you made it mighty, ramp with Fiora Legend, then pay the power, on top Yellow Fiora, play with it. Pretty like functioning as a solo card. This one is kinda slow. Dies to Falling Star, big problem. Dies to Falling Star for free, does not have deflect, does not have anything. You have to pay a power, which Yellow Fiora does not have to do, to enter the board at least. And then the port that is like, when I attack or defend alone 1-on-1 is good. But like, Body is already super good at generating super strong units to attack or defend. One of them being Orange Set. And Orange Set synergizes way better with Fiora, because then like, you can play it, gains the buff, becomes mighty. Next turn, spend the buff, +4, attack, basically. Which is what you're going to do with this card. So I don't hate it. I don't think it's like turbo trash. I don't think this is seeing played there, because in Fiora I prefer Yellow Fiora, and in Body as a whole I think we have better options. But like, this is not turbo trash though. This just has a lot of conditions. Potentially in Yi, could see play in Yi. Something like, you push with the Poro, it stands there until next turn, then you drop this in the battlefield, retreat the Poro, then you have a super strong ult. I could see that, but you also get one-shotted by Falling Star, so meh. What about Fiora with Spellsonger? This one? I mean, it's an unbelievable amount of might, of course, but you have to play 2 bad cards to reach it. So I don't see it. Like, I really don't like Spellsonger. I think Spellsonger is super bait. People are like, yeah, but it's fun, so it's good. It's just fun. It's not good. In my opinion. Might be wrong, once again. Then we have new gears. First one being Edge of Night. Svel sucks. Yeah, I think it's just gimmicky. Like, it's too expensive to be good on a consistent basis. So Edge of Night is a 3 energy equipment gear that has the hidden keyword. So pretty interesting that we have access to that hidden keywords on equips, because now we can kind of bluff with them. And when you play this from face down, you can attach it to a unit you control here. So basically, hidden mechanic. You also can pay a power to attach it normally, and then this gives +2 might. Errata incoming. Why would there be an errata on this card? I don't see the problem there. I don't think it's good though. I don't think it's super good. It's basically hidden discipline in a way, or hidden inwards, if you will. Gears go to base first, can't attach here. Oh, okay, I could say that. I mean, it just bypasses the rule, no? Like, I think in the rule they say if a card text bypasses the rule, then the card text is right. So, I mean, I think it kinda works. Anyway, yeah. This card is not so good because, like, even if you only pay a power to, like, equip it, activate it, equip it, flip it, equip it, whatever you want, it's just 2 might, right? So, aside from having units that have a super strong when you equip me or something like that effect, it's just not as good. I would have seen Edge of Night as sort of a Zonius because that's how the item works in, like, TFT and stuff. But it's not the case, and, like, you almost never want to play 3 energy to equip it, so you are almost only playing it from Aiden. And then if you're playing it from Aiden, probably you have better cards to do so. So yeah, I don't like it. I think, like, also this is purple. Like, you can just play purple Timo, which is a 4 might swing from Aiden, while this guy is just a 2 might swing. So, I mean, what would you? Is my point. Then we have this card X Anomaly is probably not going to have a single word in common with what's written there, right? Oh, it does have X in there. Okay, great. So X-Tech Anomaly is basically the orange gear that we saw before, but inverted. Before we had tap any amount of energy, generate that much power. This one is 3 energy and 8 power. Tap me reaction speed, pay any amount of power to add that much energy. In that sense, like in that sequence, if you will, this is way better than the orange gear. This has more potential, but also this is too slow and not seeing play, because this is only like a big blowout for the late game, in my opinion. If this is seeing play, this is probably to do something gimmicky, but it's like in the last turn, you could potentially, like, let's say you have 8, 9, let's say 10 runes, basically. You could tap your 10 runes, generate 10 floating mana, then use this, recycle your 10 runes, generate 10 extra floating mana, and now you have 20 mana. That's the point of Discord. I see you guys in the chat. So you can go triple time warp, huh? No, we are not going triple time warp. But there could be fun stuff. That would also mean that you want to have so many cards in end that you can value all that mana, which you can't guarantee so far in the late game. There are not any deck that can like draw so much to make sure this is working. And this is basically useless in the early game. So in my opinion, this is not seeing play, gimmicky, but it has more potential than the orange one just because of sequencing. It's way better to pay power to gain energy than it is to pay energy to gain power, in a way. What's next though? I should just kill this one. I'm going to mess up the else. Z drive. Zero drive. Huge. So the zero drive is a 3 energy equipment that has a cost of equipping of 1 energy and 1 power, which is a bit more expensive than those usual gears equips. So you have to pay the energy if you use Weapon Master. You skip the power port, but you still have to pay the energy, right? And then Discord also has pay 3 energy and a power and banish this. Play all units banished with this, ignoring their cost. And then you have to see the effect to understand why. Death Knell, banish me. So this basically gives to your units Death Knell, banish me while equipped. They die, they get banished. And then you can kill this, pay 3 energy and a power to bring all of them back to the board. And you also give them +2 might. This is super expensive, super gimmicky. Most likely not seeing play, in my opinion, because too expensive. But this is not like turbo trash. Like, let's say I have a way to set this up and I manage to equip it on something like a Watcher. Could be not so bad. As in, like, Watcher, accelerate, trade the boards, pay an extra power, equip this, and then Watcher dies. I have 0 drive in like the gear zone, and at some point in the game I need another Watcher. I could just like pay the cost and play a cheaper Watcher. I'm not saying this is broken, but this is not like completely hopeless. This could have decent interactions. I want to see what they do with a champion like Briar, whose whole deal is to self-taunt, maybe move to wherever there is a fight or potentially something like that. Like, you don't have control over what it does, but it also is strong, kind of. Could be something like that, yeah. So I don't hate the 0 drive. I think this is not seeing play because this is too gimmicky, but this is not a trash court. This is way better than like this shit and this shit. And then we have... this guy is so cute there. We have the Lonely Poro. So the Lonely Poro is a 2 energy, 2 might unit, no power cost. It's another Poro for green. So as a concept itself, it's pretty important because this means that we can have several Poros for a color. So far, we only had 1 Poro per color. We got blue Poro and orange Poro in set 2, which led us to have 1 Poro per color. But now we get a second Poro for green, and this one is Death Knell. If I died alone, draw 1. So this is 100% seen play in Yi. I think that's a given that this is seeing play in Yi. But that's also a pretty good card for every green deck. So far, what allows you to draw 1 is like Clockwork, which is not so bad, right? But this one is so much better in the early game. Clockwork is a fair bit better in the late game though. potentially you could see both things play. In E, I would not be shocked. This is a good card, and also this enables Poro Herder to be a better card. So Poro Herder is a 3 energy and a power unit that has 3 might, but if when you play it, if you control a Poro, you buff it, so it's now 4 energy, 4 might, sorry, and you draw 1. So if you don't have Poros, Poro Herder is pretty bad, but if you manage to stack something like 9 Poros in the deck, then potentially you may want to play Poro Herder in the mid game. I could see that. So pretty glad that this card is pretty good calm cards, and also pretty glad that Poro Herder is becoming a cool card that has more tools to work with. Next river is entirely calm, and you guys see the tweet. 1, it's in Chinese. 2, we don't see anything from like costs and stuff. So when I saw this tweet pop up, I was like, oh, calm reveals, hype, because you guys know I'm a big calm believer. But then I saw the chords, and I was like, I don't think any of these are like super good. They are on Rift Vanguard. Yeah. Let's get there. So the first one is Apprentice Smith. This is another turn 1 for green that is 2 energy and 2 power. And Apprentice Smith reads, when I move, reveal the top card of your main deck. If it's a gear, draw it. Otherwise, recycle it. I don't think this is super good. This is not trash by any means, but once again, I don't think like gear focused deck are going to be willing to play a billion gears. If they do so, this is obviously good. Like, let's say if you have a 1 in 2 chances of drawing the gear, it's good, but you'd have to have 20 gears in the deck, right? It's a lot. Like, it's a lot of gears. If we are on a 1 in 4 chances of drawing when I move, this means most of the time, like 3 out of 4 games, this card is going to do nothing, which is not what we want. So I'd rather play Green Poro, I'd rather play Lonely Poro, I'd rather play potentially Clockwork, cards that guarantee that they do have a value. And this is only talking about green, because obviously, like, you have another color on your legend, and them other colors can also have great turn 2 plays. So yeah, I don't think this card is so good. I don't think it is seeing play. Not trash though, but like probably not seeing play. You're just gonna recycle playable units. Like if you have like 20 cards out of your deck or gears, then maybe. Aside from that, I don't see it seeing play. It's just not so good. Next card is Sword Destroyer. Swords. Let's scrolly. Where you at, boy? Here. Disarming Rake, yeah. Talk about synonyms, huh? How am I supposed to find the card there? So Disarming Rake is a 3 energy and a power unit that has 2 might, and that reads, when you play me, you may kill a gear. I'd say I don't like it because it's way too expensive. If this was like a 2 energy, 2 might unit, like turn 1 unit, that you can actually either play as a vanilla or proc the effect off, I would have loved that. This is just too expensive. And also, that when you play me, you make your port seems appealing on paper. But in green, you already have Adaptatron, which is some sort of kind of doing that, but without a power cost. And except if like the meta is like dominated by Ornn, and like Ornn as a super key gear that you want to get rid of, I don't think like getting rid of a gear is main deck material so far from what we've seen. So it's a sideboard card, and then it's only in matchups in which like you want to target 1 or 2 specific gears and get rid of them. I'm thinking Aurora specifically, and then I think Adaptatron is just better at playing around Aurora. So I don't hate it. I don't think it's like super duper good neither. Maybe I should explain, but like one of the reasons I think this is better at playing into Aurora because like most likely Aurora right now is MF. This is the better Aurora user, and also this is the only way to play MF. So if we see Aurora being strong, it's MF. We kinda resolved the fact that in Yi, Aurora is not a super good tool, right? You would rather play Yi without Aurora than with Aurora. And then if we play into Aurora MF with this, and Aurora it's Mind Splitter, they can discard it, and then we can't get rid of Aurora. Whereas Adaptatron, you can drop it on the board, and if they hit Mind Splitter, they can't discard it. So I would not say it's like 100-0 going into Adaptatron's favor, but I think situationally, sideboard-wise, Adaptatron is probably going to be doing a better job. Might be wrong though. This card is not like super trash, but it's not a good card. It's only good if you really want to have instant gear removal in the sideboard, which so far we don't want to, I think. Or at least like good cards like Salvage, Thermal Beam, that allow you to have a huge payoff if you resolve them, or have some kind of making up for what you're not doing in Salvage, drawing a card, stuff like that. Then we have this guy. I don't know why I'm clicking on it because I can't read Chinese. Path Gorge. Ooh! Guardian of the Passage. This one was close, dude. So this card is a 6 energy, 6 might unit that reads, when I hold, you may return a unit or gear from your trash to your hand. On paper, this seems decent. Practically, it's almost unplayable. You, like, when I hold, means you want to play it in a battlefield, right? Because this does not have accelerate, this does not have a way to move around the board without accelerate. So you kind of want to play it on the battlefield you do control. And then it's 6 energy for 6 might, which means you are literally committing into Fox the turn before they play Fox. So this makes no sense. Also dies to Double Falling Star, dies to Singularity, dies to 3 Mopping from Icatian Rain. Basically dies from any good spell that we have in the game so far. So I think this card is just practically unplayable, and like, let's just not talk about it. It's too expensive. If this was like 4-4, could see play. But 6-6 is just too expensive. Like, they have access to too many tools at that moment of the game for it to stay and hold. And then the last card is this one, which is probably the most playable, I'd say. Quartermaster. But I still don't think it's like super good. So Quartermaster is a 3 energy 4 might unit, so the rate is good. That reads, as an additional cost to play me, return a friendly gear to its owner hands. So the problem is, this card is kind of Cruel Patron. Cruel. Yeah, we are in Spiritforged. Yeah, this guy. This guy on paper, indexed like Victor, seems super good. Because like, I just paid 4 to drop a 6 might unit. Super good. But then you realize what it implies. To play this, you have to kill a token. The token that you generated with Victor costed 1 energy. So this now costed 5 because you killed a token that costed you 1 energy. So this costs 5 to play. And also you kill a token. So you lose a might on the board. The token is 1 might. So it's minus 1 might. So it ends up being a 5/5. In like, if you think about math, this card is a 5 energy, 5 might card. Now, if we want to talk about that Quartermaster, it's right about the same. You have to bounce a friendly gear. So this allows you to trigger the when I equips, the when you play me stuff from gears, right? But also, you paid energy to drop that gear, right? So this adds up to the cost of Quartermaster. Let's say it's because you want to play Doran Shield. Then you bounce a 1 energy gear. So this card is in a 4/4. And that's only if you have a 1 energy gear. If it's more expensive, this card gets even worse. And also you kinda lose might on the board because now you have to replay that gear and you have to repay that power cost to re-equip that gear. So I don't see this card seeing play. I've seen people think this is super good. I don't think it is. Maybe people are going to trade in something like Jax to like unequip the gear, bounce it, then just equip to Jax again and draw. But like, yeah, I don't see seeing play. Ooh. Thank you, Crispy, for the Prime. Welcome, brother. Hope you're having a great day. Thank you for the Prime, brother. I can't hear it because my headset is there. But I thank you for the Prime, brother. Sorry for the delay reacting. How you doing, brother? Doing great? Why borders of the chords are gray uncommon? Oh, okay. I'm not a big rarity guy, so you guys are the experts on this matter. I'm not into like rarity and stuff most of the time. I think it's more meant to reattach cheap gears outside of Jax, but I don't see it. Yeah, no, it's just not good. Not bringing Ari, I apologize. Don't worry, brother. Don't worry. You're probably in the right. What are you playing? Case? I'm very lucky to have a Chinese girlfriend. The chords there are so much easier to get, but sadly not playable at tournaments here in Europe. Even got a Chinese Dead Balloon prayer in my 40 booster box, but can't do anything with it. You can play a full Chinese deck though, Deku. The only restriction on playing non-English chords is that all of the chords in a pack have to be the same language. So if you play a Chinese rune, you have to play 12 Chinese runes. If you play a Chinese chord in your deck, you have to play 40 Chinese chords in the deck. But you can play a Chinese legend. So yeah, you can definitely play with Chinese chords. It's legal. You just have to have the entirety of your deck in Chinese though. I'll have to make her buy everything over there. Yeah. I'm bringing Yi. Okay, my boy Bianca. I hope I can cast you. What's your real name? If you don't mind sharing it, because you could mind and I would totally understand. But if you don't mind sharing it, what's your real name? So if you go to the feeder table, I know that I'm casting my boy Crispy. What's your IRL? Or like maybe your first name and then the first letter of your last name or something like that. So I know I'm casting my boy Crispy there. Cord Sharp looks really good. Or did I burn the chicken with this steak? Cord Sharp? Cord Sharp? What is Cord Sharp, dude? I'll DM it to you. Okay. Do so. So I know I'm casting my boy Crispy if you end up on the stream table. Next chords, the Jana. I think this is in the chord gallery too. And it is. So Jana is a 3 energy and a power chord that has 3 might. And that is reaction speeds. When you play me, heal your units here, then move an enemy unit from here to its base. That chord is so good 3 times in Airy. Not gonna lie, I kinda don't see it. Like, I don't hate it, but also, it's like Shen, right? You don't have that port that allows you to play it anywhere. So let's say I'm attacking, and I get Void Seekered, I get Execrate, something like that. I don't control the battlefield, so I can't drop Jana. Okay? The only way I could see it putting in the work is like they deal damage to a battlefield somehow through a spell, and then I can use Jana to heal the units and not die, right? But aside from that, I think it's just like Shen, and Shen is only good when you're playing from ahead, and I don't like it. I think Rengo is like a billion times better. Also, thank you for the hype train, by the way. If you guys have any primes to drop, feel free to do so. Hype train is still going on. I have to change my alerts though. I think my alerts are still in French. But yeah, I kinda don't like Jenna. I don't think this code is like super good. Don't think this code is like seeing play. Kind of like Shen. Probably people are going to want to make this code work, but I don't see it. Waiting for mine to end so I could use it. Gotcha. Also means free VODs, right? Since we are streaming a lot lately, I guess free VODs is kinda worth it now. When I was streaming only once a week, I kinda guess that like it's not worth it. But yeah, I mean, several VODs a week, no ads. I get that. Next chord is Honest Croupier. When are you gonna start co-streaming? Are we talking co-streaming events? Because if that's the case, I announced it earlier. I got an offer to stream Houston, to cast Houston actually, on a very, very big French channel, which is something like 800,000 followers. So I'm definitely getting there. I'm going to be streaming in French though, so I'm really sorry for my English friends. But if there's ever an event in which I'm not getting there to cast in French, I'm obviously casting in English there. You can, like, this is 100% confirmed. But if I do well, this is big career opportunity, and I'm most likely co-streaming events in French in the future, but not on my channel, on their channel, right? As like caster, basically. So next chord is Honest Croupier. Croupier? Oh no. In French it's croupier, but like, I did co-stream in the past though. I streamed the Chinese events live. One of them, nationals. we did do live together. French is my favorite language to listen to. Don't understand anything there. Well, you can see me there if you want to listen to French. But sorry for the understanding part. Let me just clear my throat. I'll be back. I just straight up missed it, like down and then up and then down. But now I see it. Sorry, clearing the throat off. So, Code Sharp is a 3 energy, 3 might unit that first of all looks disgusting. But like the art is good, but the creator looks disgusting. And Code Sharp is when you play me, you and each opponent may play a gold gear token exhausted. For each opponent who did, you play a gold gear token exhausted. I think this is not super good. This is mostly a free-for-all card, I feel like. If you are playing in like 2v2 or 1v1, v1, v1, then I could see this card putting in the work. Like either they all refuse to give you a gold gear, or they give you a lot of gold gears. I could see that. In one-on-one though, only spawning a gold gear is something that you can already do with a lot of stronger cards or more flexible cards. Almost every color has access to a turn 1 that can spawn a gold gear. Blue has the gear that spawns gold gears. You have a lot of ways to spawn gold gears actually that are better than this card. If this card was a turn 1, like a 2 energy 2 might unit, would probably have seen play. Because like, okay, either I get 2, you get 1, or I get 1, you get none. But as a turn 1, it has impact on the rest of the game. As a turn 2, I don't think it's like that good, but it's not that bad. Could see play, don't think it's another staple though. Probably not seeing play in like every deck. Next card is Ruin Runner. Perfect. Ruin Runner is a 6 energy, 5 might card that basically reads, I can't be chosen by enemy spells or abilities. And I don't think it's good enough. If it had something like Accelerate to surprise your opponent, they have a lot of runes open, but they can't do anything with this because they can't target it. Why not? If it had something like, I don't know, extra power, or like I replace myself, or Death Nail something, I could see it. Or like, if I'm fighting its units, I gain +2 might, and then I become a 7 might 6 energy unit, but kinda slow. I could see it. But there, nah, I don't think it's like so good. It's just too slow. It's just way too slow. Anticipating you topping EU, my brother. There's a chance. I would not say a high chance, because it like almost entirely depends on how I do. But if I do well this weekend on the broadcast, the channel I'm going to be casting for is a pro channel with like, they have studios and stuff, and like they have people working there, directors and stuff. Like they have money. If I do well there, I guess there's a chance that I start working with them regularly, which means I'm probably casting Bologna and not playing. But if they don't call me for Bologna, I will be playing for sure. For sure, yeah. Huge. Yeah, pretty huge. Pretty huge. Like this is TV business at that point. Like they have 800,000 followers. Like crazy, right? What I'm hearing is I gotta plan my trip to Bologna. Well, if I cast though, I'm probably casting from France. Not sure I get there. Maybe I do get there, but nothing certain. So, would be painful. But if you get to Bologna and I'm casting you in Bologna, would be hype. And if I get there to play or to do whatever, huge. Once again, huge. And I would be so happy to see you there, brother. Next card is Seaver. We already knew about Orange Seaver. It's shit. It's not good. Don't get me wrong. Sorry. Not good, Seaver enjoyers. Not shit. Now we already have the purple champ, which is 4 energy and a power for 4 might. Accelerate, so you can pay 5 and 2 power to play it, which is not that bad because you play Seaver. right? So you probably pay one through the gold gear, and then the other one is another gold gear for the next turn, right? So like paying 2 power is fine. And also this procs the effect that if you've spent at least 2 powers this turn, I have +2 might and ganking. And so this Siever is like play me, accelerate me, so you spend 2 power. So I'm basically a 5 energy, 6 might accelerate unit that has ganking, which does not do a lot on the first turn, but then later on it kinda gets good. I kinda don't like it. I think this seals the fact that Siever ain't it. Because like your signature is basically accelerate for all of your units, but your better champion has accelerate already. So like signature does not make sense then. Also, okay, this card is decent. You can basically proc it every turn. Like you can make it 6 might every turn in Siever, I think. But also, yeah, you accelerate it. You send it to battlefield, and then what? Like your opponent is most likely trading it. Like there's a lot of stuff that trades with this card. Darius trades with this cards. Watcher trades with this cards. Charm something trades with this cards. Yi Champion trades with this card. Deadbloom trades with this. Like this card basically dies to anything in a color that's not so good at protecting its unit in the mid game. Purple, I'm talking. And then like, yeah, this is good value, but it is also very expensive and not so good value. So I kinda think Siever ain't it. I kinda think Siever is not so great. It could have been good with strong support. Like I think when it got revealed, it was kind of on par with Rek'Sai. Like they are both in the middle of the ranking, and if they get strong support, they get there. Rek'Sai got like super cracked support, and Siever got like underwhelming one. So like now I feel like the gap is pretty big. Whereas at first it was probably Siever that was favored from the legend ability. Alt arts we do not care about. These cards are, at least 2 of them, 3 cards are pretty good. The first one is Punch Fist. Punch Fist, is it in there? Might not be. Oh, it is in there already. Great. Punch Fist is a 1 energy, 2 power spell that is action speed and that gives a unit +5 might this turn. This is actually super good. Implies that you can play around DeFi, whereas before the only super big push that you had in orange was Primal Trance, but Primal Trance is 4 energy and a power, so like literally comets into DeFi. So this was like terrible if you get DeFi on Primal Trance. Punch First is kind of the same, but not defiable, so that's already a good thing, and way cheaper, which means having several runes open applies a lot of pressure, because then, like, let's say you are on E, you can not only have Punch First, but then like have Engward and something like DeFi on top. So yeah, this card is super good. This is definitely seeing play in orange. This is super good in Siever because 2 powers, so you pay 1 of it with the token and you pay 1 of it to create a token. This is probably super good in Yi, probably at least decent in Set. Yeah, this card is just overall good. And the fact that you can play during, like, if it was just a not action card, so a basic spell if you will, it would probably be like okay-ish but not that cracked. But the fact that it's an action means that now, kind of what you have to do when you play into green, you have to be super wary about the fact that orange having 1 rune open could mean +5 might and you can't defy it. So there's nothing you can do about it. Like, this is pretty scary. This is pretty scary. Punch First is a good card. Next card is Production Surge, and actually this is the only Production Surge. Ooh, that's the correct name. This card is the only mech card that I'm actually excited about, because I think this card is super good, mathes wise, but it's only a mech card, so then it is what it is. So Surge is a 4 energy 1 power spell that you can only pay 2 energy to play if you control a mech. So from a 4 energy 1 power to a 2 energy 1 power, there's a big difference, which makes it kinda only playable in mechs. And so Surge reads, play a 3 might mech unit token to your base and draw 1. So being able to play a 3 might unit and drawing a card for 2 energy and a power is super good. Because usually we say 1 power is the cost for a draw, and then you play a 3 might unit for 2 energy. So like this is good, of course. This is like pretty good. If you have to pay the full cost, it's not good. So it's only a mech cost. But from a Rumble perspective, having access to draw power and to cheaper units, like above the curve units, is pretty good. So I could see this card seeing play. I don't think it's like cracked outside of Rumble, but in Rumble it's kind of cracked. I kind of like it. And the other card is the exact opposite, Rocket Barrage. How do you guys say barrage in English? Barrage? Barrage? No, it's barrage, right? It's Rocket Barrage. On dirait, like, kind of seems like I'm saying baguette fromage, but in a more fancy way. Rocket Barrage, baguette fromage. You get me? Rocket Barrage. So, punch first plus purple severe seems pretty good to prevent trading and or on gank interest. Yeah, but it's also super expensive. Like, you have to pay 4 powers. Your treasure token is not untapped, so you have to pay the full power cost. And you have to have 6 runes open, which is a lot. So Rocket Barrage is a 4 energy and a power card, spare actually, that you can repeat for the same cost. So you can technically pay 8 energy and 2 power, which you are never ever going to do, as per Taylor Swift's wise words. You can choose one. Either you deal 4 to a unit in base or you kill a gear. So killing a gear for 4 and a power is trash. And dealing 4 to a unit in base for 4 and a power is trash. Like, I think Rumble would rather play Falling Star than play Rocket Baguette. Like, there's no way this is good. Also, killing a gear, like, you have Salvage that is 2 and 1 and draws. You have, what's the name? Acceptable Losses, which is 1 energy and 0 power and kills a gear. And you have Rocket Baguette that is 4 energy and a power that you have to pay. Like, if there was some sort of cost reduction, if you control a mech, could see play. But like, yeah, this is definitely not seeing play. There are already better options. This is the first card that allows you to clear a gear, I believe in blue. But that does not make it good. I think most likely you are just going to be playing your other colors gear removal. And that's about it. Like, you are playing Thermal Beam. You are playing either Adaptatron or the guy that we just saw earlier. You are playing Acceptable Losses. You are playing Salvage. You are never playing Rocket Baguette. Like, this is trash. This is utter trash, in my opinion. Next card is Red Lucian. This one was from today, so I don't think we have it in the card. We do have it. Okay, great. So Red Lucian is a 3 energy 2 might unit. The red is we don't like it. Has access to Assault though, so kind of 3/3. One attacking, and then it's Lucian things, like you want to get in there and get out, then get in there and get out. Basically Lucian things. And also when I attack, you may deal damage equal to my assault to an enemy here. So the point is, I have Assault 1, you equip me, so Lucian Legend gives me Assault 1. Then like, well, I'm dealing like 2 damage because of my effect, and then the rest of it comes through my might. I think this effect is only good in like Green Yasuo because it has a high might value. And so like most of the time the effect is going to be enough to clear the units in there. Whereas Lucian is not that good. Also, if it's when you attack there, so it procs like the shields and stuff. So you can't even use it to bypass shields and stuff. You have to still go through the shields. And if you don't manage to kill with it, which is more than likely, because like it's 2 damage, then it's not enough to kill, and you still have to take on the full damage with a 2 might unit. You have Assault, so maybe a 4 might unit, let's say. But like 4 might is not an unreachable amount of might. Like most likely the defender is going to be able to reach that amount, and then you have to play another card to make this card big enough to survive. Else you just, like, your effect was just nothing, did not work. So I kinda don't like it. I don't think this is a great card. And also I think we can rank Lucian in like not it, because like not so good signature. I mean combo-ish, but not perfect. Not so good red champion, and not like decent or red champion, but not it. And also not good Legion effect. So yeah, Lucian's just not it, most likely. Does he have Assault Core 4? with cleave? Yes, it does. Which means it deals 4 damage, which is not even that big. Like you don't outtrade Darius with that. Like we have to realize that if we have 1 equip plus cleave plus red Lucian, we barely trade with Darius through the effect, which is like okay. But if we miss one of these, we don't kill Darius through the effect, which means we die to the fight because like okay, we dealt 2, but we still have to deal the remaining and we still have to tank the damage. So like makes no sense. Just makes no sense. Looks like they want you to stack equipment on Lucian to stack as well. Yeah, basically what they want Lucian to be is like they want Lucian to be a super big combo deck that plays a lot of equips, not a lot of bodies, and then they just like you just play a unit, equip a lot of stuff to it, and like move it around the board through the signature and stuff. Like that's what they want you to do with the deck. This is not viable. You die to Rune Prison, you die to Cold Week, you die to Hidden Blades, you die to whatever is able to kill your body basically. And yeah, that I think that strategy is just like fun, cool addition to the game, but I don't think that's it power-wise. Then we have Purple Ezreal. We did not talk about him. We did talk about the blue one, and we don't have it here. Okay, so we have to work with Twitter now. We did talk about the blue one. We did not talk about the purple one. This one is clearly the better one, but also it's not good enough, in my opinion, to make the deck work properly. Let me just clear my throat and I'll be back. So Purple Ezreal is 3 energy and a power for 3 might. So the rate is meh, but that it's K if the effect is good. And the effect is when you play me, you can discard a card from your hand, then draw 2. First thing is decent in Chaos, but Chaos is already good at doing that. Traveling Merchant, stack deck. Now we have the 0 energy spell thingy that digs the deck. So Stupefy in Teemo. So like this is okay-ish at stacking the trash to build a Mundo, because I think that's what you want to do with that kind of effect in Chaos. But that's also not something that Chaos struggles to do. And also it's not the correct sense. Like it's not the correct way. Because then it's discard 1 and draw 2. But let's say you have like 3 good cards in your hands. You play this, you discard the worst one, but that's still good, and you draw 2 mid cards. You would have wanted to discard one of them. So it would obviously have been better if it was draw 2 then discard 1. It's not the case. And then the additional effect is you may reduce the additional cost of cards by 1 energy or 1 power of any domain. So additional cost ports, I think, means like repeat, deflect, and stuff. So yeah, Ezreal wants to play repeats, but so far we don't have such great repeats. And also my big problem is that neither the blue nor the purple Ezreal champs allow you to trigger the legend effectively. Like the legend is you have to target enemy units twice to tap me, draw 1. Discord does not work in that sense. Blue Ezreal kinda does not work in that sense. So I don't like. I think Discord is not trash. This is probably what you want to play in the Champions Zone because Blue Ezreal is like literally trash. But I don't like it. I don't think it helps the deck, aside from helping it do something it already did well. So I'm not so hyped about Ezreal anymore because the support is mostly not good, unfortunately. You also have that purple Discord one, Discord draw one. Yeah, exactly. So the Doran ring, the gear that you can equip and then Discord one draw one. So yeah, I kinda don't like it. I don't think this is super good. This looks sick though. But like, let's not spend too much time on odd arts. We still have a few cards to look at. Not so many of them actually. What is it? Like 1. These are or arts. 2, 3, 7, 11. 11 cards. Okay, this is fine. We will be done by midnight this time. Great. Proud Catches did a great job. And shake. So action. Here. We have to click because the big problem with these tweets is that we don't, like they don't mention the might and the cost in the text and then we don't see it. So we have to click there. So action is a 4 energy 4 might unit that has the Weapon Master keyword. I can already tell you that. And that reads, you may pay an additional cost of 2 powers to play me. So 4 energy and 2 power instead of just 4 energy. And if you do, take control of an enemy gear until I leave play. If it's an equipment, equip me. So The only way I could see this working properly is you take Aurora. Like you drop this, take control of Aurora, then I guess it makes sense. It's not a spell, so it can't be sabotaged. I guess it's decent in that scenario, but I also don't think Aurora is going to be a good strategy, like a viable one in set 2. Because we are going to have like a lot more of gear removal in the sideboards or even in the mains. So Aurora instantly becomes not viable. And also like Discord has great rates, but 2 power is super expensive. So you have to take control of a big thing to value them 2 powers. And I don't think we are going to be able to take control of Aurora all of the time. So it could be a no-range sideboard card for specific matchups, but I don't see it seeing play in like the main decks and stuff. Because 2 power is too expensive. Then we have Battering Ram. So it's a 5 might, 5 energy card that reads, for each card you play this turn, my cost decreases by 1 until a minimum of 1. So you pay 5, but then if you play like 3 cards, you only pay 2. We'll have to see how Rek'Sai does, playing several of them small units through like legend ability, then you get a fair rate, then hook, you get a fair rate, then you flip the guy that says when I'm revealed gain 2 energy, something like that. I could see that in Rek'Sai. I don't think this is super cracked, but if Rek'Sai ends up going for a hook build with the matrons and stuff, this could potentially become really cheap really fast. Like I could very well see that. Like they go play whatever. They have hook set up. Like they have hook set up and anything on board. They just go hook. Hook, it's Spectral Matron, play Matron. So you played a 1 card. Matron effect, play Vanguard. You played a 2nd card. Then this card is 3 energy for 5 might. And you only paid an energy through hook. Which means like attack to conquer with something. Proc Rek'Sai, see this on top of the deck. It's 3 energy, it's fine. If it's 5 because you did not play anything, you just bottom deck it, and it's fine too. So I could see it C-play in Rek'Sai. But aside from that, I don't think this is like super cracked. This is just an overall decent card that could C-play in them like swarm decks, in a way. Thanks for the follow, Jace. Welcome home, brother. Hope you're having a great Wednesday. Next card is Nevery Scout, which is a 4 energy, 4 might unit, no power cost, that has the deflect keyword, and that's it. Most likely, if this card exists today, this is seeing play in Yi instead of Kiana, I'd say, because like both have deflect, but this one does not cost power, so it allows you to ramp to that late game more efficiently. Aside from that, I don't see it seeing play so much. I still think it's a decent card, but it's a vanilla, right? So deflect is not enough to make this card viable. Your legend has to bring something to the table. In Yi, you make this a 6 might defensive card that has deflect, which is what makes it kind of good. Aside from that, most likely not seeing play, but not a trash card. Like if you are specifically looking for a mid-game unit that works well versus spell decks, I could see that work. I could see that card seeing play. And I think it's straight up seeing play Yi, like it's straight up upgrade to Kiana. Yes, you don't draw, but also you don't deramp, so yeah, kind of good. And next card is Jungle Ambush, which is an hidden spell that has a cost of 2 energy and a power. And that card reads hidden, so you can pay power to hide it. During this round, friendly units enter ready, and you play a gold token exhausted. So it's not that bad because either you play it from hand or from the hidden zone. You pay a power, but you play a gold gear token, so you kind of refound the power. It's not like completely refounding it, but in a way you mitigate it at the very least. And every unit enters ready is good. Confront does that. Confront is kind of good. Confront draws though, but like it's kind of good. This card could see play. I'm not saying it is going to see play because it entirely depends on what decks want to use it and what build they run, and if they feel that like their deck is too slow and they want to have a way to accelerate them cards. But let's say potentially Rek'Sai once again, I could see this thing play because then you know you are going to be spawning a lot of units either through Rek'Sai's effects or through the hook. Then if you have the runes to play this, I guess it makes sense. Yeah, like Accelerate Draven is scary. Accelerate Vanguard plus the token is scary. Accelerate big bodies from the top of the deck, but we don't pay them full cost because they have the cost reduction is scary. So I think this card is not trash. I think this card is seems good, but is not seeing play. And I think this card is potentially seeing play. So this post was actually pretty good cards. Next cards. Let's start with Lightning Strike. So it's a 3 energy, no power spell that has the hidden keyword but also has the action keyword. And that reads deal 2 damage to a unit at a battlefield. And if it's an attacker, deal 4 instead. So either this card you pay 3 energy to deal 2, which is more expensive Incinerate, and Incinerate is not seeing play. Or you pay either a power or 3 energy to deal 4 to a unit, but you don't draw a card compared to Void Seeker. So this is either worse Incinerate or worse Void Seeker, which makes me think this card is not seeing play. Most likely. And also has the battlefield restriction. If it was only, like if it was potentially deal X to a unit, if it's an attacker, deal 4, maybe could see play. But like that way, it's not seeing play. It's too bad. Too bad of a rate. It's too expensive. Not seeing play. Next card is Freeze, a 2 energy spell that has no power cost once again, and that reads reaction, also repeat 2, so you could potentially pay 4 to do it twice, give a unit -2 might this turn. So this is the exact card that I was calling for in Ezreal. I was always mentioning Stupefy but does not draw, so literally this. The only problem is it's too expensive, because like for 2 and a power in the current game, you can go -4 through Smokescreen in blue, in the same color. And for 1, you can go -1, draw 1. So both effects are more efficient than this one. And you also have cards that like for a power, you can go -2 in like Blast Config and stuff. So basically, I think it's only good in Ezreal if you want to consider that through the repeat thingy, you can draw a card, and then it becomes not even that good, because like you pay 4 energy to go -4 and draw a card. Like this is still super expensive. So I kind of don't like that card. I don't think it's seeing play. I think it should have been 1 might, repeat 1 might. So like 1 -2. Like we have Engward, which is 1 + 2. So why would we not have a card that is 1 -2 and then repeat 1 again -2? I could see that. It's not the case. So I think it's just too expensive. Not good. Then we have Cloth Armor, which is an equip, a 1 energy equip actually. Cloth Armor has the quick draw keyword, which means you can equip it as a reaction. You can pay a power to equip this card to one of your units. And this gives 0 might, but it also gives shield +2 to the unit it's equipped to. I would have rather preferred +1 flat might and shield 1. Because then this means this is not good at attacking, and if you're playing from behind, this is completely useless. So, except if you really want to play gears, like you have to have a lot of gears in the deck, I don't think this card is seeing play. And we could be thinking about Ornn as like, yeah, but Ornn want them cheap gears. I don't think this is seeing play. I don't think this is seeing play in Ornn. Like your units are big enough already that you don't want that shield. You'd rather have flat might. And aside from that, like this card is just Shen, quote unquote. Like you react, give shield to someone, but playing from behind is useless. So I don't like it. With purple S, it's repeat 1, right? Yeah, no. It's repeat 1, yeah. So you have to pay 2, then repeat 1. So you pay 3 to go -4 and draw 1. Still super expensive there. How does quick draw work? Do you have to pay the cost plus the equip cost? Or only the equip cost and it attaches? Yeah, only the equip cost. If you want to quick draw this, you only pay the energy and then you attach it. You don't have to pay the power. Like basically, quick draw implies that you also attach it. And the next card is Premonition Gates, which is a 3 energy gear. That's not an equip there. And that one reads, you can pay A, so A I believe is a power, yep, any power, and exhaust me. Your next spell gains repeat with cost equal to the casting cost. this is a good chord. This is most likely a good chord. Multiple Rider Wins, multiple Stupefy. Like there are multiple Console the Past, if you like. There are a lot of chords that you could want to value out of this. The only problem is these chords that we were waiting for Ezreal should have been strong and add repeat by themselves. Repeat Stupefies, repeat damage, repeat might reduction with a fair cost would have been great. The fact that you have to draw this chord makes it that if you want to play it, you want to play chords that don't have repeat already, but then you kind of want to repeat in Ezreal, which means if you don't see that chord and them chords don't have repeat, then it instantly becomes super bad, right? Like you have a super hard time triggering Ezreal and drawing chords off of it. So I don't like this idea that they decided to make several chords that are supposedly powerful and are supported by that kind of chord, but if you don't see that kind of chord, they don't work well with the deck. I would have rather preferred in an Ezreal champion, blue or purple, I don't care. Most likely it's a purple effect, but like, let's say purple Ezreal, that is like, when I move, reduce the might of an enemy unit by 2 or deal 2 damage to an enemy unit. So then you can move it around the board with like the purple stuff and trigger Ezreal Legend. And then several cheap repeats that have great effects, including the signature. I think the signature had to be a repeat to make it worth it. Either it's like purple Ezreal is like reduce might and then signature is deal damage because Ezreal Q spell, and then both work together. Or signature is something like completely different but has to be cheap and repeat. Else it does not work. And I think like right now we have several pieces but they don't click together. Like they don't manage to assemble well. So yeah, I think both these chords are sufficiently strong Ezreal chords, but in the end they are not good enough. I want to love this, but oof, yeah. This is just not seeing play, I think. Or if it is, it's just to make Ezreal viable because Ezreal is trash. But then it's like Garen, right? You don't say Garen's chords are good because, like, you don't say yellow Garen is good because you play it in Garen. You just have to because the deck does not work on its own, right? Then we have 2 extra chords. One of these we didn't know about already. The first one is Spirit Wheel. So Spirit Wheel is a 2 energy chaos gear that made me think of Mystic Reversal when I saw it at first. Maybe there's inspiration there, don't know. Spirit Wheel is when you target a friendly unit, you may pay 1 energy and exhaust me to draw a chord. So supposedly this wants to be a chord you play in Irelia, because like then you target, you pay power, you ready, you pay energy, you draw. On paper, this is not like trash. In reality, what's going to happen is this is going to be somewhat of a Solari Shrine for Leona, which is like, yeah, when you manage to set it up and resolve it several times through the game, it's good. But also, if you draw it in the mid to late game, it's not good enough. And if you are in an aggro matchup, you don't have the runes it takes to set this up because you have to pay 2, then you have to pay something to target, then you have to pay an energy to draw. So basically, the first draw is 3 energy plus the cost of targeting, which is a bit expensive. So I think this is bait. This is not seeing play. Also, purple and green also already have great ways to draw chords, be it through battlefields. Like green is super good at playing into Grove and super good at playing into Dreaming Tree, obviously. And purple has some of them chords that allow you to draw Traveling Merchant and stuff if you want to cycle. So I don't see this chord seeing play. It's just too like the archetype of like gear that is supposedly generating value over time and is expensive at first but then getting good is most likely never seeing play. And then we have Blood Rush, which was a chord that we saw Changren use in the trailer that they made for the second set, but we did not have the full visual about it already. We did not exactly knew how this worked. So Blood Rush is a 1 energy action that you can repeat for 1 energy too, and that grants a unit assault too. So if you repeat it for 2 energy, you can grant assault 4. This is definitely super good. Most likely a chord that is going to see play in most red decks, because this gives you another viable way to trigger Darius. We already have Darius Cleave, but if you don't have the Cleave, sometimes you have to use the Ghost or play a cheap unit to enable it. Now you have not only Cleave, but also Blood Rush. So this is pretty good. OC plus 4 might for 2 energy is a super good rate. Like, it's way above Discipline, it's way above Engord, it's on par with Smokescreen, but without the power cost. So like, this card is super good. This is most likely seeing play in a lot of red decks. Not saying like every red deck, but a lot of them are going to be playing that card, in my opinion. And I really do think that this is a new red staple compared to some of them cards I criticized earlier. We can take a look at the alt arts though. This one is cool. This one is super cool. I love it. This one, I don't hate it, but like, I mean, I don't care. Not so good neither. Last new card, no? Oh, we already talked about Rumble, so I think this is the last new card we have. Pretty decent though. Seal Explosion. So literally crushing a seal, right? From like the gear zone. Is 1 energy and 1 power. You play this as a spell that is normal speed, and you can just destroy an equipment and its controller draws 2 cards. So this is Hidden Blade for gears without the action hidden ports. This is fine. Like, so far red only had access to Thermal Beam, which is obviously going to become a lot better in the upcoming set, because so far not many people are playing a lot of gears, so Thermal Beam does not make sense. But in the upcoming set, it's probably going to make sense, at least in the sideboard. But if you don't want to pay 6 energy and 2 runes to clear a gear, this is a strong tool to clear something like Aurora or whatever. Like, you really do want them to draw 2, but you clear Aurora. And on the other hand, you have cool interactions at destroying your own gears and drawing 2 cards. Like, let's say you have a seal, but you need draw power. You can pop the seal to draw 2. It's fine. You're fine with that. If you have a gold gear token that you are not using right now, you can kill the gold gear token and draw 2 cards. So like, this is kind of effective, kind of like it. This is one of those gear removals that are very main deckable, that are like overall good enough to be main deckable. And I do love it. I do love it. Scrap Heap plus this, draw 4. Yeah, true. This could see play with Scrap Heap. Oh yeah, oh my god. With Scrap Heap, it's actually super... So Scrap Heap, if you guys don't know Scrap Heap, Scrap Heap is an equip that says, when I'm played, discarded, or killed, draw 1. So you could potentially pay 2, play this from end, draw 1, then pay 1 and a power, pop Scrap Heap, draw 2, Scrap Heap effect, got killed, draw 1. So draw 4 for 3 energy and a power. Yeah, this is something that I could see. Also, you don't want to play Scrap Heap as a like combo piece with just this, but Scrap Heap is already a super good card in purple when you play something like Zone Warren, and then you get in Zone Warren or Traveling Merchant, and then you draw the extra card because you discard a card that did nothing in your hand but allows you to draw an extra card, and then you end up drawing a lot through Scrap Heap. So yeah, this could see play. I do agree with you. Good job catching on that, Ray. I did not think about that. But through Scrap Heap, this could become an even better card, yeah. And then we have Alt Legends. Oh, I did not see them. Oh, Renata is super sick. I love it. Sever meh. Whoa. Okay, my boy Azir. Azir the man. And Ezreal is cool too. I think I don't like it as much as I do like Azir and Renata do. Renata might be my favorite one so far. It's so cool. It's got kind of that comic vibe. I do love it. And we have alt arts for the seals too, right? I think I saw it. Yeah. So this is Fury Seal. This is Mind Seal. Oh, this one is cool. The little X-Tex thingy I love. And then Order Seal. Okay, this one is the worst one, I think. The one I like the less. Great, so we are done with reveals and it's only 11:33. So we have time to talk tier list. We have time to make a small Houston prediction, and then we'll be done with this stream. And we somehow managed to fit everything in the stream, which I'm not so good at most of the time. So I can't remember the name, but like someone in the chat asked before what I thought about the legends. This is the time. This is the tier list from the previous week. It was already an update from the week in which we got the legends revealed. Now we have the update, and now we have even more reveals. So we are going to be updating it through the reveals. This was here though. So let's start with the bottom port. Renata, I don't see it performing. I really do think Renata is too slow. What I hate about Renata is that once again, all of the cards in the deck seems to work around the fact that you reach that late game. But there's no card so far that convinced me that Renata would be able to reach them late game scenarios on a consistent basis. I just don't see it. So I don't think Renata is going to be good. In my opinion, it's at best playable and most likely just a multiplayer legend, and that's about it, and it's fine. I mean, like, you have to have some of them alternate formats shine too, I guess. Rumble, we could up a tier through the red champion is good. Red champion is good. We have the 6 might unit Death Rattle spawn 2 mechs, and we have the code that says spawn a token, draw 1. So I don't hate it. I think it's not good. Like, the legend is way too passive. But also, like, the cards are way better than what Lucian has. Like, Rumble wants to work around mechs. Rumble wants to work with equips and assault. And the cards that revolve around mechs are way better than the cards that revolve around Lucian stuff. So I'd say Lucian is confirmed not good. And Rumble is probably confirmed not good too. But Rumble is slightly better than Lucian. Jax, I still think is most likely bad. I don't think Brutalizer is enough to consider that Jax is like super good. I just think Jax is like okayish. Ornn was... We did not have anything about Ornn. So like, we were talking about the legend needing strong support. But from what we see, I think this is going to be an extremely strong legend. If we consider the set 1 format, so like the Kaisa, Yi stuff meta, Ornn is cracked into these decks. He's like super good into these decks. Obviously set 2 is going to be like a tad bit different, but also I think the values that are printed on Ornn's cards, Deflect 2, gaining might, a lot of gears, not paying power, are good enough for me to confidently say, now that we know about the support, we can bump Ornn to already good, and this is probably, if not the better legend of the set, at least one of them, in my opinion. Like top 3 for sure, guaranteed. There's no way this legend is bad. This is obviously a good one. Ezreal, on the other end, I think we are between most likely bad and probably confirmed not good though. Which I hate to say because I was pretty hyped about Ezreal. But I think Ezreal is probably confirmed not good. Because then, from what we saw, be it the champion, like both champions actually, the signature and the repeats, why would you not play Teemo? Like, I feel like Teemo has so much more potential as a Mind Chaos legend that Ezreal has through the cards that we saw so far. In the future, we get strong repeats that are cheap. Yeah, Ezreal could be good. But right now, I think it's most likely confirmed. I think it's even worse than Rumble, actually. It's probably even worse than... Like, they had to make either great signature and a great champion, or great champion and great repeats, or great signature and great repeats, and we don't have any of these. Like, not a single one of these. So, yeah, I kind of fear Ezreal has to drop to confirm not good. And I kind of fear Sivir has to do the same. Sivir is probably most likely bad, though. Like, I guess if you can value playing Mind Splitter, Dead Bloom, Aurora stuff, I guess you can't be like trash ass. You are still most likely bad, though. But you can't be like turbo trash, though. I wish Ezzy's ability was target 1 instead of target 2. Yeah, that would be broken, though. That would be like super broken. But they could have They could have given him good chords to proc the ability, which they decided not to. So far, once again, we don't have the full reveal list, but yeah, they decided not to. Next on the list is Irelia. I think Irelia has meta potential. Do I see Irelia as a top contender? From the 6 decks that we have in the top tier, I really do think it's the 6th one. Like, it's not in the top 5 of the set so far. Maybe if we get one or more to crack green-purple cards, I could say that. But it's not bad. Like, it has meta potential for sure. I think these 6 legends have potential to at least be underdogs in the format or top tiers. And these 6 legends have potential to be most likely trash tier, like Jinx, Yasuo, like that kind of tier, right? In the current formats. Like some people play it because they like the champion. But overall, it's just not good. Fiora, we did not get a lot of reveal. It still seems pretty good from my perspective. I think Orange Fiora does not change a lot because you are most likely playing Yellow Fiora. So that's about it. Red, Yellow Rek'Sai. Do we bump Rek'Sai to already good? This is problems. Like, on paper, this is probably already good. I think this is already good, though. I think this is most likely a viable deck. At the very least. Like, its floor is viable. And its ceiling is like, if we find that tiny bit of consistency that we need, we are cracking it as potentially the top aggro deck in the formats. It would be strong, which we want it to be. It won't draw every turn. Yeah. It would be strong, but it's not. We're talking about Ezreal, right? Rek'Sai, though, I think is super good. Like, I think you have to opt for a hook build. But then if you do so, the amount of cards that when you reveal do something, the amount of cards that have access to when you X, my cost is reduced. Noxus up full. The card that we just saw, like the 5/5 cards that is like reduce my cost by 1 for every card you play this turn. The card that allows you to generate energy from the top of your, when you flip it from the top of your deck. The card that says I cost 3, but if you play me from top of deck, I cost 1. Like, there are already a lot of strong cards that you are able to find off the top of Rek'Sai, and playing for free from top of deck would have been broken, but playing for a cheap amount is exactly what you wanted as Rek'Sai. So I really do love that legend. I'm afraid it might be a bit too stable as an aggro deck, but I think it's like floor is viable, ceiling is top tier aggro in the format. Seems strong emo. I do agree. I really do think Rek'Sai is like pretty strong, pretty dang strong. Next one is Draven Glorious Executioner. Okay, so Draven. I do think Draven is bait. As in, like, people think it's tier 0 material, while it's only a good legend that's going to be like super duper good in the early days of the set, because like it's aggro and it has a lot of stats, raw stats, so people are going to have an easy time playing it and like they are going to win a lot. Now, from like a legend ability and support perspective, it's like not trash. The red champion is really good. The legend ability is super good. The signature is pretty good. So I would put it below Rek'Sai though, because I think Annie might be potentially better than Draven, or at least on par with it. But is it bad? No. It's already good for sure. Draven is bait. I call it kinda, yeah. How does it compare to Annie? I think you have like a 5-second delay and you are going to be like, that dude is super fast. I think it's kinda decent. But like also Annie is probably good too. The question is the champion good enough to make Draven such a better option? Maybe, but not sure. Azir is already good. My brain has a 5-second delay. Gotcha, Ray. I might be a bit overhyped on Azir. I think one of the big problems of Leona so far is one case, which will somehow be fixed in set 2, I think, through Ornn and stuff. And 2, not being able to be consistent in the early game, which I think Azir can be. If we manage to have a bit less Kai'Sa in the formats and have a deck that's consistent enough in the early game, then we have a super good deck. Because like Green yellow, we have all of the stuns in the game, so we are super good at defending into big decks. We also have access to a lot of strong cards, be it counters on the green side of things and removal on the yellow side of things. Hidden Blade, Cold Week, blah blah blah. We have access to two of the best gear removals in the game, in Adaptation and Savage. So I think Azir has the tools and also got the gears that we needed to say is already good. Now the question is, can he be top tier? The answer is probably, I think so. Or at least like very playable. But I kinda got everything that was on the wishlist for Azir. We got cheap equips that are good. We got good champions, viable champions. We got a better stun card in the Swoosh or something like that. That's like the better Rune Prison. And we still have all of the green stuff and all of the good yellow stuff. So yeah, I kind of like Azir. I think it's going, might be my pick as like, I maybe overrate it, but I think it's good. Like better than people think. And Draven would probably be my pick as I think it's not so good, or at least worse than people think. But it's already a viable deck, don't get me wrong. So that's about it for this week's reveal session. I kind of wanted, if we had the time to do so, and we just have the time to do so, to make a small Houston prediction. Because you guys know already this was my tier list from, say 3 weeks ago, but maybe it's 4 actually. Let's just update the tiers as like winning material. Yeah, so this is like winning material, then underdog, then definitely tops, then unlikely. Oh, or I will just have to wait, let me just hit this. Yeah, me Dumby. And also I think I missed Jinx. Let me just get Jinx, Twitch, Wristbound, tier list, legends, Jinx. Yeah. So what did I say? Winning material. Yeah, winning material. Underdogs, like could win. Actually, it's like could win. Definitely tops. Unlikely. And then no way. Would be like my Houston ranking would be something like that. I think winning material is pretty self-explanatory, so let's not like make it run too long. Yeah, tempo, blah blah blah, whatever you want. Like not ramp, not Aurora. Sorry. These decks are expected winners. I would favor Kai'Sa because I think there are two things that we have to take into consideration if we want to play Yi in Houston. The first thing is that Sett is growing in popularity due to extremely good recent results. And Sett is a tough matchup for Yi. Basically, it's either you draw Charm, then it's okay, or you don't, then it's very hard. And also, second thing is Yi kinda adapted and got an edge of like the main deck win walls and stuff to play around warps, but now cases are respecting it. So they are not falling into the trap of like using that warp and then you win wall them and you win the game off of it. Amount of Annies at this event is going to be insane. Yeah, I think there are going to be a few Annies, yeah, for sure. But that being said, this is going Yi's favor. Like, Yi has a pretty good matchup into Annie. Like, basically, the curve is, like, if you manage to find something like you conquer with a 2-drop, either they don't have Ghost or you have a buff over Ghost, then the game is already really super tough for them. And if you find anything from, like, Defy or Rune Prison, and you have access to it on Vi, Ride the Wind, that game is over. Like, there's no way they can win. So I think the fact that the amount of Annies, like, if I were to, like, let's just put the could win decks, and this is going to make sense. This is the counter to this that has a not so terrible matchup into Kai'Sa. People think it's unwinnable. I don't think it is. I think it's definitely winnable, especially with the new set lists with like yellow set, Fiora, blah blah And the boars. I also did tell you guys to play 3 boars, and a guy just won the big 10k event playing 3 boars. And I think Annie is the Kaisa Slayer. So basically, Seth is the Yi Slayer and Annie is the Kaisa Slayer. I just think Seth has a okay-ish time into Kaisa. Like if we were to like set. Oh, sorry. Let me do. How do I do this efficiently? Oh yeah, this. This is Seth. This is Kaisa. This is Yi, and this is Annie. I think Seth. Like, this is fine matchup. This is stomp matchup most of the time if they don't have charm. This is slightly positive for Yi, but like not 100%. This is going Yi's way. This is going Annie's way. And yeah, all of the decks that are here can at least compete into Kaisa, else they just lost. And Kaisa stomps the rest of the field. Like, Kaisa turbo shits on the rest of the field. That would be my like rock, paper, scissors. Say scissors if you will. I do think Seth is better than Annie though, because I think Annie does not have a consistent way to win into Mastery. I think most games that Annie is going to get paired into Mastery are auto loss. Whereas I think Seth can definitely win into Kaisa with them like Yellow Set, Fiora, Boar, builds, Sabotage also, that manage to like bring a lot of units that Kaisa has a tough time getting rid of, and then you just like tempo, and at some point they can't contain it anymore and they have to surrender the game. Definitely tops, I would probably say Ares in there. Annie has a hard time, especially after Yi drops big boys. Basically, it's like, okay, it's like Yi drops a big boy, whoever it is. Annie does the same, blah, blah, blah. I'm going around the board. Yi pushes. You want to ghost it. Because if you don't ghost it, either it's a 2 might or 3 might unit, so Poro or like Clockwork, whatever, Pete Rookie. Then it's 4 or 5. So Kaisa does not beat it. You have to have them cleaves. Basically, you have to play something like Kaisa Cleave or Darius to beat a turn 1, which is like super expensive. And then Yi has a super easy time trading back because Yi's champion beats both Kaisa and Darius. So they can already force a lot in the early game if you don't have access to Ghost. If you have access to Ghost, they can just play Engward or Discipline to pump over it, then not lose to it. And in the late game, if you want to use something like Vi Ride the Wind, if they have either Rune Prison to Rune Prison the Vi, then it does not do anything, or Defy to Defy the Ride the Wind, same result, you just lost the game on the spot. So yeah, it's very tough for Annie to face Yi on a regular basis and win. Airy definitely tops. I want to say Victor definitely tops, because I think there are going to be a lot of Victors, and I think one of them is going to make their way into top cut. So once again, this is prediction, right? This also, most of the time when I do power rankings, I only talk about absolute power level. This is more of a prediction of what's going to happen. Taking into account like representation, price, matchups, like way more than we usually do when I make rankings. This is not a power ranking, this is a prediction. Is there another deck? Teemo is definitely topping though. Teemo is probably the better deck that is not one of the 5 or of the 4. Teemo is probably the 5th deck. Like, I think going into Houston and into what people are mostly playing and into how they're prepped, I think this is probably the 5th deck. This is probably like 1, clear favorite, 2, clear 3rd, clear 4th, clear 5th. I think this is the order. And representation wise, probably also something that we are going to see. I think Aurora MF is definitely tops Emo. I think it's unlikely. Could top, but unlikely, yeah. I would put it in unlikely. I don't see Aurora MF being consistent enough to make it through 9 rounds of Swiss and then top cut. Thank you for the follow, Thowen. Welcome, brother. Thank you for the follow. So Blue Victor, let's not talk about it. Ookless Darius, let's not talk about it. Do I think Ook Darius tops? Ook Darius most likely grabs a top because many players are going to be on it, but I also don't think it's super good. So I kind of want to put it at the top of unlikely, that could top. But if I were to pick an high roll deck, would I pick Victor or Darius is the question. Huh. Yeah, I think Darius is unlikely topping. And then if I do top, life I guess. Top unlikely is fine, yes. It's either there or there. I think it's top unlikely. Aura, I think Aura could top. I have an interesting data to share with you guys if you want to. Maybe you guys know about a YouTube channel that is called Games Deconstructed. We did react to a video live last time. Deconstructed. Yep, this channel. I actually made friends with this guy. His name is Simon. I'm going to share the link in the chat. Here you go. Super cool channel that talks about statistics in Riftbound and how statistics can affect your rate and your game plan of the game. So it's like super cool channel. I really do recommend that you watch them videos. I watch all of them. This one I probably watch on my phone, which is why you don't have the timer, but I did watch it. And I reached out to this guy to get a hold of some stats and something pretty interesting that he did send me, because he's like super chill guy, super cool guy. So please go drop him a follow. He really does deserve it. Something that he dropped me is this. Let me just grab a screen share so I can share it to you guys. Screen share tool. Okay, give me a second. Does not want to work. Okay, this is one of the stats he shared with me. Save. You go there, you move, and then you come here. Yep, perfect. This is part of the data he shared with me. Super good, super useful. And so this data rates, Horror never took off in the West the same way it did in China. And I really do agree with that. This was a feeling, or a bias rather. But also you have to like prove it. Like you feel like it, but you can't confirm it. So you have to look for stats to prove it. This proves it, kind of. Because like if you want to consider topping decks, so this is obviously from like several events. So this goes from local to regionals to stuff. But if you want to consider the 256 Yi decks that placed highly, so made top cut in China, 41% of them played Aurora, so close to half of it. And also you have to consider that this was one of the most expensive decks in the game. So if it's 41%, most likely some people would have wanted to play it if they had the budget to do so. So it's probably a bit higher than that, in like if you consider everything. On the same period in the West, only 17.9% of Auroras, of topping Yis were Auroras, so less than half of Chinese rates. And if we consider like a bit later on in the time period, it even drops to 13.6%, which is like basically 1 out of 10 Yi topping lists is Aurora. So I think them people really did realize that Yi Aura was not the best approach. This is something that we had confirmed already based on theory, but now we can also confirm it based on facts. I think Yi Aurora is fading. We are confirming that Aurora is not the best way to play Yi. And if you want to play Yi, you want to play Tempe Yi or Ramp Yi, but like you don't want to play Aurora basically. So like these thoughts were super useful. Once again, go follow Simon, please. Super cool, super chill dude. Really lovely. And yeah, this is like super sick. A lot of people in the West who I've talked to don't want to play Yi. Most are heavily leaning towards Annie case asset. Yeah, okay. So the first thing is, I think in the West we are less, not like we are more willing to play tougher decks, quote unquote, like decks that we don't want to just have a linear game plan, drop them cores. Like we want to be a bit more creative. That's the first thing. Also, we tend to like having a more control E play style, as in Kaisa and stuff. And third thing is we are realizing like Yi Aura is not good. This is something that we knew already, but always takes time to confirm, right? Like you can confirm based on theory that this is not good, but then people still need time to realize like they are going to focus on results, and if he performs in China, they think he is good, which is not true, right? Do you think Spiritforged will really change the meta? Like we can see more other legends in top table? Yeah. I do think so. Oh, he's probably in the ad. Let me wait 10 seconds to repeat. 5 seconds. So I can just tell him he does not get the ad. Okay, great. Ad is over. So yeah, I do think Spiritforged is going to change a lot of the meta. If we go to the tier list I just talked about here, I think at least these 3 legends are going to have a definite spot in the metagame. I think all of these 6 are playable, and I think Ornn by itself is going to completely stop Kai'Sa's domination. I don't think Kai'Sa is going to be unplayable, but I think she's going to have a super tough Ornn matchup, which was not the case so far. Like people think Yi is super tough for Kai'Sa, but it's far from unplayable. I think Ornn is going to be almost unplayable. LMAO, I'm playing a brain dead deck. Yeah, you are not playing a brain dead deck, but you are playing a curve deck. In like, this is what I want to play on 2, this is what I want to play on 4, this is what I want to play on 8, and if I find it, I'm good. I don't have a lot of draw power, and yeah, if I find it, I'm good, but if I don't, I'm auto-losing, and there's not much I can do about it. But it's so strong when I do find it, and the requirements are so generic, as in like any unit gets +2, that most of the time I'm going to find it. But there are also games in which you need spells, but you don't have any of these, or you need units, but you only have spells and early game. And like, Yi is not brain dead. Like I never said Yi is brain dead, because once you have all of the pieces that come together, you are going to have to make to have some great decision making to put it, because like orange and green are interactive colors. Like this is not dead ass dropping codes and winning the game off of it, right? My problem is that if you don't find the pieces, like sometimes in some matchups you need white flame. If you don't find white flame, it's super tough, and there's not much you can do about it. And I feel like the consistency and the ability to like cycle and see what you want to see is part of the skill, and Yi does not allow for that part of your skill to express, at least not on a consistent basis. This would be my take on Yi. I think the difference between a bad Yi and a good Yi, like the gap is not as big as the gap between a bad Kai'Sa and a good Kai'Sa, or a bad set and a good set. I think there's a wider gap in those decks than there is in Yi, and most of the time when I'm the good player, I'll be picking a deck that allows me to create the most difference with other players. But that does not mean Yi is a bad deck, right? I just don't think it's like the optimal choice. But it's not trash by any means. You don't find Dead Bloom, White Flame, GG. Yeah, some matchups you don't find them, it's just GG. Then Garen just can't top. Lee Sin probably does not top. Or, nah, probably does not top. Leona, unlikely. Leona is not as bad as people think. If a good Leona player ends up running into a lot of Yi and Set and Annie and not a lot of K, like Leona is super cracked into these 3 guys. Like super cracked, actually. But it's unplayable versus Kai'Sa. So if one Leona player manages to have a run, like they only lose to 2 Kai'Sa, but then they make it to top cut because they are 7-2, I could say that, but that also means that you face only 2 Kai'Sas. If you face more than 2, it's over. Or there are new real brain dead decks in real if I don't feel like the battlefield system makes optimal plays. Yeah, I do agree. I don't think there is a complete brain dead deck in Riftbound. I think some easier decks are like Victor. Like I think Victor is really easy. It's just like small. Stratagem, win. You have to be super good to compete with the super top players. But like from a new player perspective, Victor, you can win games being kinda brain dead. Whereas Yi, you still have to interact at some point in the game. Victor, you can basically win a game like interacting 0 time with your opponent. Small unit, more small units, trade everything through Yellow Victor to generate a bunch of tokens, stratagem, game over. I never interacted with you once, right? This is my point. But yeah, there are no real brain deck decks, basically. Hello, Yukio. How you doing, brother? Then Lux. No way she tops. Volley. No way. Yasuo. Unlikely. Actually, I don't think Yasuo can't top. Like, I think a decent Yasuo with a good build could surprise, because most of them people are probably not very prepared to play against Yasuo. But I also don't think power level wise the deck is like that strong. Very fine and you big bro, very hyped. You know the news, mate. You know the news. Very, very hyped. And then Jinx does not top. And all of these we have in the tier list already. I mean, we probably have like Aurora Yeez in tops, maybe. But are they better than Yeez? I don't think so. So yeah, this would be my prediction for Houston. I would say if we were to make like rates, this is super big though. Give me a second. This is 35% of the field. This is 20? 55? Yeah. 15 maybe. 15 maybe, yeah. I mean, okay, 30 and 20, nah. 20 is fine, 55. Yeah, this is 55. This is maybe close to like 7, 8. Let's say 8. This is less than 5 because it's super hard to play this deck. Kai'Sa higher? Not sure. 35 is already super big. 35% of the field is already super big. This is probably like 3, 4. Like, it's super strong, but it's also super hard. Let's say like 4. Might be less. This is probably the same. So like 4. So we now have 8. 8 and 8, 16. Plus 55 makes it 60, 71. So we have 29 left. So all of this is like, yeah, it's like 3, maybe 4 too. Or maybe even Victor is even more because it's cheap. Maybe Victor is 5%. I could see that, but let's say 4 for the sake of it. And Ares the same. So we now have 8, 8, 8. So 24 plus 55, 79. And then all of this is 20-ish. 20-ish. So like 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5 times 10, 20 basically. Between 1 and 1.5%. Or 2, some of them. Yasuo could be 2%. Actually, Kai'Sa might be 40 and E 25, but I think that's about it. I think there are going to be about twice as many Kai'Sas as there are going to be Yees. Yeah. Annie might be closer to Yi. I'm not certain because Annie is Proving Grounds. And from my understanding, Proving Grounds is super hard to get in the US. Which deck do you play? Right now I play Airy. But I do play a lot of decks. I have gameplay videos on, like, if you want to go on YouTube and see like all of this. Main channel is theory focused. Then gameplay is gameplay, of course, and votes is like stream votes. I played Annie, I played Seth, I played Kai'Sa, I played Yi, I played Victor, I played Eri, I played Yasuo, I played Leona. I play all of them basically. If they interview me, I got you, bro. Time Warp is bait. Tell them, brother. Tell them, Crispy. Tell them the truth. Yeah. I think you are definitely getting interviewed because you are getting that top cut, bro. And I'm casting you. Don't forget to DM me your name, by the way, so I can know if I'm casting my brother Crispy, and I could talk about this on stream. So that's about it for today's stream. What time is it? It's midnight, so perfect. If I get top cut, it would be crazy. I think if you did tryhard and grind, you definitely have a shot, because I think there are also going to be a lot of randos there. Like, there are obviously going to be a lot of top players, but also there are going to be a lot of random players that only attend Nexus Night once in a while. And so, like, there were opportunities to get boxes and, like, mats and packs and stuff. And so they wanted to get there and grab the stuff, the loot. So, and just play, like, because it's fun. So, like, I think when, I'm not sure because this is the first one, but most of the time, playing Yu-Gi-Oh, being a top player myself, I was probably afraid of like 1% of the room, like level-wise, player-wise. But then, if you're top 1%, you make top cut. Like, top cut is about top 5%. Because it's like 60 people in like 1,000. So it's about top 5%. So if you consider that on 100 people in the room, only 4 of them are better than you make top cut, basically. That's how you have to see it. Been hella grinding TCG Arena like crazy. I mean, if you do the work theory-wise and deck building-wise like you seem to do, because you are in the chat debating and you always bring like good debates to the table, and you do the work playtest-wise, I don't see a way it's impossible you make top cut. Maybe you won't, but there's a reasonable chance that you do make it, in my opinion. I really need to get more games into. Yeah, I'm a very weird example among top players, or used to be, because I'm someone that really does not play a lot. Like, usually I attend locals once a week. Maybe I meet up with friends to play 4 or 5 games, and that's about it. Some people, like some pro players, they play like 8 hours a day or something. But like from a common perspective, like standpoint, like if you want to improve, the first thing that I would advise is you have to play a lot at first. When you're getting into the game, you have to play a lot because you have to understand the mechanics, and also you have to develop a feeling of what things, like how things go, because that's what is going to help you play when you have to go outside of your prep. Like, let's say it's regionals round 1, I'm facing Jinx. Like, bro, I'm facing Jinx. Like, I don't know how to play against Jinx. I have to have that feeling of the game of like, okay, I'm falling behind in tempo, I'm in the lead, I can play like this. I don't exactly know what this deck does, but I know that I'm in the lead because I kind of feel it through various metrics, right? This is the first thing. You have to play a lot. Then people tend to like keep playing a lot because they decided what legend they want to do, but they tend to play like 200, 300 games of the same legend. I think it's a big mistake. In my opinion, the optimal training time is you go from like 200 games in like the span of like a month or a month and a half before the regional. So what, like, it's 45 days, 200 days is like 5 games a day. Or like if you play on TCG Arena, this is reasonable. Like if even if you have a job, if you really are grinding for that regional and then on the weekend you attend locals, maybe you play like 3 games a day on weekdays, and then on weekend you play like 10 games a day because like you go to locals, so you play like 4 best of 3s and then like it's 10 games, right? So let's say you play 200 games over the span of 1 month and a half before the regional, or you have the time to do so at least. In my opinion, you should cut it to 100 games. You should probably not play during the week and only play on weekends, or like you play like once or twice during the week and you only play on weekends. And then the 100 games that you did not play, you use this time to 80% of it review your games. This is the most important thing to do. If possible, do it with friends. And the rest of it, you think about like deck building, formats, you watch videos, theory. This is considering that you are already a comfort player, right? So like 5 hours a week, something like that, you watch videos. The rest of it, you review your votes and you learn from plays, you pause. Ideally, you do this with friends. So potentially, half of it you review your own votes and half of it you review your friends' votes. And that's also going to be super useful because it's going to like, you're going to start understanding how they think and how they want to perform and stuff. And also, so from 200 games, you should probably get to 100. Me, I'm probably doing like 40 games, right? But I think it's too few. I would probably be better if I played more, but that's about it. I think the correct rate would be something like 100 games. And I also think of these 100 games, you should probably play like 30, 40 games on the legend you plan on picking, and 5 to 10 games of every other legend. You should never spend 100 games playing the same legend. That is just useless. At some point, you master the concept, you master the theory, you know what to do, and what you're doing is just putting in reps to, like, you're going to have 10 to play 10 or 12 games to find one useful scenario that you did not encounter already and that you could have thought about without playing. Whereas if you play like 5-6 games of set, or maybe 5-6 games of any, and then 10 games of set, because set is a bit harder, then this is going to teach you so much more, as in like not only how to play the deck and what's the game plan and stuff, but also if they play like that, they probably don't have that card in hand, because when I was playing like that while playing set, it's because I was missing that card, because else I would have taken that trade and I would have crushed the board, and so on and so on. And this is going to teach you so much more than playing 100 games of Yi or 100 games of Kaisa, that in my opinion everybody should be doing this. I know that it's hard to get a hand on all of the decks. Maybe you can swap with friends, maybe you can print proxies to play this with it, maybe you can play on TCG Arena, but I really do think this is the best prep plan. It's like, if you are able to put in a lot of games, split it in half, only play half of them, the other half is reviewing, and when you play them, make sure you swap deck regularly. Like, you maximum 40 games on your deck, because you already know about it, right? You already playtested, you know the curve, you know the tempo and stuff. I think that's the best prep. That being said, everyone has its ways, everyone's different. Like, as I told you before, I'm different. I don't prep like top players usually do. I spend, if I were to consider 200 games as the standard time, I think I spend 140 games or 50 games thinking and 50 games actually playing, which should be the opposite, right? But that's how my brain works. I tend to value absolute results way more than testing results, because most of the time testing results is biased by scenarios, and I think everything could be solved by just like theory. But also this means that you have to have a very wide theory scope, so, which is why I think a lot, because if something is not in the range of what you thought about, and you did not playtest enough to have a feel of that particular matchup or deck when outside of your prep, then this is when things get wrong, because you are completely lost, not having any input on this. Yeah, you need to get some XP in other decks and learn how to stay or come back from behind. Yeah, exactly. And also, most likely, mechanics that you are going to learn into another deck, you are going to be able to bring them into your deck building. Like as Yi, retreating is not that important. Like leaving battlefields, because you want to stay in there because you are super strong in there. As Kaisa, it's super important to be able to retreat your units at the correct timing. And so, let's say you are a Yi main, you want to play Yi, but you do 10 games of Kaisa. Maybe it's not going to help, but most likely, you are going to understand when retreating is crucial, and at some point playing a Yi game, you are going to be like, why would I let that unit die for no reason? I can just retreat it, and that's the same. And that potentially you learned playing Kaisa, because that mechanic is way more prevalent in Kaisa than it is in Yi. So you have to do it more often, so you get more reps in, so you get better at it, basically. And that's about it for like playing spells the other way around. You are a set main, you don't have a lot of spells in your deck. Well, go play Kaisa, go play Yi and Charms, go play any. So that way, you kinda can understand now that if they make that play, it means they don't have that spell. Otherwise, they would have used it. And now you know that it's not in their end, so you can play around it and commit more resources because you know you're not going to waste them. That would be my 2 cents on stuff. How about we schedule a raid? We have the Eggman streaming Riftbound, so let's raid the Eggman. Hope you guys liked the stream. Hope you enjoyed the talk. It was great. On my end, I really did enjoy it. I really do like them meta analysis. Thank you guys for being here once again. It was super good. Yeah, I've had similar experiences with Eri, where I may have stayed in the battlefield a turn too long without the means to sufficiently protect it. Yeah, exactly. See ya, Yuki. Much love, my brother. Exactly. And like learning those other decks helps you learn better concepts. Was cool. Thank you for being in the chat. Thank you for interacting. Thank you for sending messages. Loved it. I'm going to send you to the Eggman, which is streaming Riftbound playtesting, from my understanding. Big guy from One Piece, and also I think he does Gundam and maybe some other stuff. Also tournament organizer and stuff. So be nice, say hi, support. I'll be seeing you this weekend on French broadcast for all of the French community. For the other ones, I'll be most likely seeing you on next Wednesday talking about the last reveals and Houston, of course. To all of those who are getting to Houston, hope you have a great time. Hope your preparation goes well, and hope you can manage to stack the top. I support you, you support me. Love you. Thank you for being